Hola, 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 mi gente. I came in on my favorite part. You can't hear anything?
We hear you.
Lily, can we hear you?
I can hear it. It just went off. It was weird. You know me in
Okay.
electronics.
Okay, welcome everybody to On the Block with Jen Saturday night, bitches. We're gonna have a good time tonight. We are jumping on this Steve Harvey surfboard. Sorry, we gotta do it. It grew some big hairy legs. We gotta catch it, okay? So welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm your favorite devil's advocate. You know you can reach me on all social media platforms on the Block with Jen. Very easy. If you want to support the show, let's get the ugly business out the way. Yes, I want your money, okay? Because we give good podcasts. You can support the show On the Block with Jen. It is scrolling on the bottom, Cash App On the Block with Jen, and many, many, mucho besos to everyone who Cash Apps me when I'm off air because you caught the replay and you appreciate the programming, okay? To the ladies and the gentlemen, because it's not just the guys. The ladies be representing in that Cash App. So salute to you, ladies. That is where you can be discreet. You don't care who sees where your money goes. Feel free to send us a super chat. Don't forget, everyone is welcome up on the panel to argue with us. We like faces. If you want to hide behind your avatar, we understand, but you got to throw some chips in the super chat, okay? There's a fee for coming up and hiding behind the avatar. Otherwise, come up and show us your big, beautiful, pretty faces, okay? Come one, come all. Lily, let the people know where to find you so we could jump right into this.
I am Lily of YB Limited. That's the letter Y, the letter B, the word limited, the way it is spelled here on my top and on the screen. All right. You can find me here on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And that's about it. Haran? Haran, you're muted.
Let's get it together, people. I'm jumping right in today.
All right. Music producer and the musician Heron DeMarco. You can find me here on YouTube as Heron.DeMarco. You can find me as Dangerous DeMarco under Threads and IG, and you can catch me as Heron DeMarco under Spotify and Apple Music.
And that was your music playing, right?
Sticking on me. I am No Saint. I am Saint No Saint on YouTube and on IG, and just No Saint on TikTok.
Thank you, No Saint. And I do want to make a note of that intro music that you heard for about 10 minutes. That was Haran DeMarco on the panel here. And if you follow him on his YouTube page, you can get more of that. And No Saint, your live is tomorrow, right? Your testosterone, hairy, greasy, hanging balls live where the guys are.
Yeah, we can do that tomorrow for sure.
I mean, you don't have to. I'm not trying to twist your arm.
No. I'm just clearing my schedule. I got to think what's going on. I think tomorrow is good for a Sunday. It might be the last Sunday for a while at that time slot.
Okay.
Well, no, actually, I keep saying that, but I think nights will be fine.
Yeah. You ain't about it. You ain't about this business, No Saint.
Oh,
stop.
I got to support. Actually, let me tell you something, and I have to discuss this with everybody, but I actually do have something I may want to do next Sunday that I may go out and record. I don't know if it'll be good. I'll discuss it with you, but it's a real good event coming up here that I want to get out to.
Money. Get that out the way.
All right,
but
guys.
I definitely you reminded me though. You reminded me that I was talking to my sister about it today, and I was like, "Ooh, that might be something to go do." So I'll discuss it with you guys. Yeah,
I'm mad because I went to an event today. I went live and I just tried to watch the playback. It's a wrap. So because the thing about what I noticed when I try to go live at events and there's a lot of people around, the live doesn't work as well, so I'm gonna have to do a pre-recorded. Thank goodness I pieced together some stuff, so I'll re-upload it.
Okay. No problem. Easy. Thank you, sir. Salute to you. Thank you for the super chat. I'm stunning. Thank you. I try. All right, guys, let's get into this tonight. Matter of fact, Lily, the event you went to was Michael Jackson. Everyone loves Michael Jackson and Prince out in Brooklyn, New York City. And you know my vote. People like, no, stay neutral. But I'm Prince, do or die. Okay, I am Prince forever. Doesn't mean I didn't appreciate the work of Michael Jackson. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if given a choice, and I can, I'm not a neutral type of personality. I've never been. It's either yay or nay. I'm all about Prince. So I'm wearing purple. Ode to Prince tonight. That's who would get my vote if I had the choice between Prince and Michael Jackson. And Michael Jackson was just too and you guys can get mad. Michael Jackson was too much of a weirdo for me, though I appreciated his music. Right, y'all can get mad. It's too much all around. When you look at both men, just all around human beings, I just didn't like who and how Michael Jackson was off stage. On stage, phenomenal. And you guys can argue with me. I'd love to hear your responses. On stage, Michael Jackson, phenomenal. He also had the knack for having fucking longevity. They had to beat him black and blue to have that type of work ethic. That's a whole other topic. However, he managed to stay relevant decade after decade after decade, which is absolutely phenomenal and amazing because fans are fickle and people get over shit. But, there were many generations. My grandson is 7 and he's awed by Michael Jackson. So I'm not saying that phenomenal. Off stage, a fucking weirdo. Even asshole, I would say. From what I've seen from some behind the scenes video. I know he talked like this a lot and sounded really innocent, but that's not who Michael was. If you know, then you know. But I'm going to die on that hill. I'd like to hear what the chat and the panel has to say because I know I'm going to hear some shit. What y'all got?
Well, I already know. We already know who yours is.
Yeah, but here's the thing. We hang out and talk all the time. 25 people watching. The chat doesn't fucking know you or what you think. So you can't say you already know. They don't know.
Oh, well, I mean,
Michael Jackson or Prince?
My stance has always been Prince.
Oh, elaborate.
Well, I mean, look, I grew up in a household where my mother was a huge Michael Jackson fan. She turned me on to Michael Jackson. I thought Michael Jackson was incredible. Absolutely. However, once I reached a particular age, one day I saw this damn near midget of a man on a motorcycle.
Little person
on a motorcycle with one of the most gorgeous women I've ever seen on his back. You know what I mean? Playing, like, he wasn't even playing the guitar. He was just like looking at it and shit was just coming out. And I was just like how is anyone this fucking talented? Looked at it and he was just like happening and like these sounds came out. And I just looked at him and I looked at the women and Mike. I looked at Mike and he had like a monkey on his shoulder.
Okay. And okay. And the men, we must say again,
cradling Emmanuel Lewis. So it was different.
Listen. I'm just gonna keep sucking Prince. I'm sorry, y'all could call it what you want. An immense. Listen, Prince was an immense talent, self-taught. There's just so much more to Prince, in my opinion. There's so much more. Before y'all get the Michael Jackson did charity work. Prince did a lot of down low charity work, all the way to the Bronx, New York. Okay, that a lot of people don't know about. So as far as philanthropy, both men did the damn thing and they gave back and they paid it forward. But I'm talking about Prince was an immense talent, self-taught, 20 some odd instrument, played every instrument on his albums, beautiful women, back to back to back. Homie had a type. Okay. Never with anything less than a fucking 9 on his arm. Just a phenomenal human being. And Michael had Priscilla Presley and Bubbles. But I digress. Continue. Who else wants a piece of this?
All right, I'm about to come through fighting. I'm coming through fighting. Okay. So, but listen, this is the thing. It's flipped with me, right? Totally flipped. I freaking love Prince. I think he's phenomenal. Love everything about him. It was just with Michael. It was just something about him to the point where, dead ass, my mom and I was like a 5-6-year-old kid. We're in church arguing. And they wanted to praise Jesus, and I wanted to praise Michael Jackson. because I was like, he's way better than Jesus. Like I was just like so obsessed with Michael Jackson. He was like, he trumped Jesus to me. Like, oh, hold on, you're on mute. You're
I
on
said
mute.
my mailman is better than Jesus, but I digress.
So, like, I would literally have full out arguments as a kid with the pastor, with my grandmother, with my mom about Michael Jackson. I was totally obsessed. I think it was probably because it was the first album I heard straight through. Um, then I think it was mine that someone bought for me. It was a lot around Michael. And what's funny is it was because he had bubbles, because I've always liked animals. I didn't give a damn about a woman. I was like, I wanted a whole zoo. So I was always wanting, like, he had Neverland and he had all of those things. So yeah, but I look at Michael and Prince as apples and oranges. They're really not comparable in my book. They're just not. They're two phenoms in their own way. They're just so different, like so different. But I guess because they're both phenoms, it's best to put them like, to compare them or like see because who else is on their level? You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
it's just them.
Right. And I call cap on people that I can't choose. Let me tell you something. In every genre around the world, be it free, I don't care if it's golf, baseball, football, basketball. Yeah, people are always comparing the best of the best. That's how we are as humans. But for some reason, some subjects people are sensitive about it. I can't compare. Yes, the fuck you can. Because if I had free tickets and I said you could only get one pair of tickets, you're going to choose.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to say, if I had Michael Jackson tickets and Prince tickets, and I'll be like, you can only choose one. You're not going to say, I can't choose. I'm going to go home. No, bitch. You're going to pick one of the two.
No,
You're going to pick one of the two.
with them two, I don't see how someone can't pick one of the two because to me they're very different. But they're so phenomenal that they're the only two that can be compared. So I don't understand how somebody can't pick between them two. I really don't.
Right. So when you say, okay, so let me give you a little bit of pushback because I'm sucking Prince. So let me give you a little bit of pushback. So when you say, you were very young, you loved the monkey. I love monkeys. You know how I feel about sad monkeys.
Right.
Okay. You know how I feel about a sad monkey.
He had a zoo and I wanted a zoo.
He had a zoo. So do you think that your affinity for him was just you were a kid and he had fucking, what is it, Neverland?
Yeah, it was personal.
I mean, he literally made that for children.
Yeah, it was personal and it worked for me because of all like the colors.
That's
and
a double meaning. That's a double meaning.
I know. I'm just saying, like it. So, yeah, like I was a child that, like, you know what I'm saying, that took to the whole Neverland and the child and Peter Pan thing and stuff like that.
Oh my God, we're going somewhere else, Lily.
I know, but this is the truth. But see, this is why I look at the whole Tekashi and Nicki Minaj and all of what they do, and because of the adult me looks back, and I know this. Like I look back with my adult eyes, and I know what got me. I'm like, but the difference between him and them. He wasn't half naked and all of that. They're doing like the kid stuff, breast pulled up and like, oops, I didn't mean to do that,
Correct.
Doing all of that.
Michael did get naked for us, didn't he? You Are Not Alone.
Did he? Was
it Priscilla? Which one of them got naked? Was it Priscilla got naked or he got naked?
Michael, he just had the towel on him. I think Priscilla was naked. Oh no, whatever the girl's name was, she was naked. I'm gonna be a music snob right now. I'm gonna be a straight up music snob right now. Okay. I will stand by this statement. 90% of the people.
I love that number 90 because that's the go-to number for everyone who has an opinion. 90%.
I stand by this.
Stand by it, baby.
We love stats.
Jackson, go for Michael Jackson. Can't pick 6 Prince records outside of Purple Rain. They don't know no fucking Prince records. See, I know Prince records. I know Michael Jackson records. So I'm an authority. Most of you motherfuckers, y'all don't listen to Prince. Y'all listen to Rain. Y'all know the movie. Y'all couldn't even pick out. You couldn't even tell me without Googling what album I Hate You was on. without Googling.
Challenge.
Tell me what album I Hate You was on. You couldn't tell me what album Billy Jack Bitch was on without Googling. You couldn't tell me what album Dinner with Dolores was on without Googling.
But no, I couldn't agree more. And that's why I made it clear that
album. You can tell me what song Human Nature was on, though, right?
I can tell you all his shit. Yeah, I can tell you all his stuff. But that's why,
exactly.
Right? But that's why I said for me, it's more personal. It's not necessarily musical, if that makes sense, right?
Absolutely.
So, because musically, come on, musically, Prince, hell yeah, right? That's not to be debated at all. I'm just saying, for me, it's more personal. You know, like that nostalgia thing when something comes on, it's like, oh, I remember this, I remember that. So for me, it's more, like you said, exposed to more Michael than Prince. By the time I was exposed to Prince, the childhood was kind of over. So it was me doing my own exploration.
Right. And here's the thing, in Prince's defense, not that he needs one because he's the king.
He don't need it.
But in his defense, they were marketed very differently, and Prince was way ahead of his time. Way ahead of his time. Absolutely. I should not have been in a movie theater watching Purple Rain at the age that I sat there. However, my father, I always sound like some fucking Italian from New York. My father, managed a movie theater. That was one of the many jobs he had, but he managed a movie theater on the weekend. I used to go kick it with him on the weekend and go from movie room to movie room to movie room till his shift was over. And I would watch, and I went to see Purple Rain as a very young, impressionable little girl. And I was really I was like, this is a God. This is a God. This is my God here. And I went home and I was bitching and moaning and crying. I wanted my dad. You remember? I'm about to age us right now. I'm about to age us. Do you remember the shellacked big frame pictures? They were shellacked. It was shiny wood. Like they would put a picture on a big slab of wood and then shellac it. And in the 70s and 80s, everybody had a shellac picture on their wall. Okay. So there was one of those down at the shopping center, and I just bitched and moaned and cried. My father was like, I'm not putting that man on the wall and blah, blah. And I bitched and I pouted, and I'm the baby of 4 children. I'm in the room and I'm crying. And then the next day, my dad freaking got it for me. And he hated Prince. He hated him. And when I walked out, I was like, I get it. I put it up on the wall, and I was obsessed. I was too young to be obsessed with some damn Prince. Okay. Michael Jackson was safe.
My mother didn't like Prince. He was called him a weirdo. And I'm like, really? Prince is the weirdo?
No, yeah, but he was. But here's the thing. Listen. But look who turned out to be the real weirdo. But no, Saint, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of once Jen gets to talk and she takes some of my thunder, unfortunately, before she gets to me. But what I'm gonna say is this. There's a few things. First of all, 3 of the biggest albums I think in a 10-year span for me was Purple Rain, Thriller, and then Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill, where you had almost every song on the album a hit. I mean, it was crazy. So we're talking.
I had that Alanis Morissette.
I love that album.
Yeah, so we're talking like first 2. Yeah. So I mean, but I will say that those 2 albums, Thriller and Purple Rain, were right around 14, 15 years old for me, and loved them both. But really, the Prince was more edgy. And the thing is, if you're going to, like Jen said, the marketing was a lot different. MTV played Prince as well, but MTV really pushed Michael Jackson a lot. If you go to a show, it's probably going to be a little bit more of an entertainment show. But as far as musician-wise, and Prince wrote more songs for different artists. Definitely, but they both had a weirdness about him. I don't know if Prince off stage was as weird as he was on stage when he came out with the little symbol. Don't call me Prince anymore. And I'm this, all that, but yeah, that's it. I would say looking back, like as a kid, you're looking at Michael Jackson. I remember in junior high, I was trying to sport the one glove, you're all all like, oh my God, the videos were better. by far, his videos, he had more entertaining videos, but Prince overall, I think, is the better artist. You know,
Adam
He's
Hearn.
by far by far Prince is the better artist, because if you took all the bells and whistles away from both of them, okay, no background dancers, nothing. You're gonna have Prince up there playing every instrument on that stage, and you're gonna have Michael Jackson moonwalking. Come at me, bro. If you took everything away from both artists except for what they are capable of doing, you're gonna have Michael Jackson doing the kick, grabbing his nuts, and doing the moonwalking. You're gonna have Prince playing every fucking instrument on that stage. Come at me, bro. I want to fight.
No, you're right.
Adam Hearn. Again, I'm going to be a music snob. Prince can play the guitar on the level of Steve Vai. Steve Vai even said that. Steve Vai even revered Prince. If you don't know who Steve Vai is, stop commenting on, someone's guitar playing ability. You can play the bass on the level of Victor Wooten. If you don't know who Victor Wooten is, do not comment on Prince's, ability to play the bass guitar. And he was an exceptional motherfucking drummer, and he had an 8-octave range. I don't like having conversations like this.
But wait a minute, Haran.
What's up?
Wait a minute, Haran. Adam Hearn said Prince stole his style from David Bowie. I've heard Prince refer to Sly. I've heard him refer to Jimi Hendrix. David Bowie? Those two aren't. What?
He just needed something to talk about.
David Bowie.
Influenced by Jimi Hendrix, absolutely.
David who? Oh my goodness. Y'all are talking the talk now.
Little Richard, yes, even he admitted it.
Right.
So, come on, man.
As far as the symbol and all of that, remember Prince was fighting with labels and all that shit. So that's why. So it wasn't, it's not like Michael Jackson was a weirdo. Like, I don't know why we can't say that. Like, two things can be true. He could be a phenomenal fucking entertainer, and he can also be a fucking weirdo.
I know, but I've heard of things like Prince came out, I don't know if it was a private concert like in New York or something, and played with the lights out. I mean, stuff like that. It's just like, that's weird.
That's not weird.
That is weird. Like, people are coming up to hear you. I can listen to an album in my dark room. I'm here to see Prince play.
Right. You're there to see Prince play, but he's an artist, right? So he's going to do what artists do. And he probably wanted people to listen to the music. When you're in the dark, it's a different experience. You were in there as a fan, okay? Not an aficionado. Turn the damn lights off.
Oh my God.
No, but it's
that's like Michael Jordan shutting the lights out at the free throw line so we can listen to the Nets go.
Not the same, because you have to see basketball. You listen to music. We come up from our cake.
MJ was. He didn't have to. He did like a fucking instruments. No, he wasn't half the dancer MJ was.
Wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute. I ain't never see. Now we gonna fight. I ain't never see Michael Jackson, Lily.
Oh no! I told you what mine is shallow. So don't come
Michael
looking for
Jackson.
nothing.
I've never seen Michael Jackson hit the floor in a split in high fucking heels, okay, and spin all the way around. Now, he kicked and moonwalked, but beside that and his choreography, that you have to give credit to the choreographers, okay? Let's give credit to the choreographer, because I hate when people say that. I hate when people say, such and such is a great dancer. Beyonce, Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson had fucking choreographers. There's a video on YouTube right now that shows every single move of a dancer in the fucking, before Michael Jackson was doing those moves. Before Michael Jackson did those moves, I forgot the guy's name, and Michael Jackson did all those moves verbatim. So I'm sorry. I'm going to go out on a limb here, even if I'm by myself. I told you I'm dying on this hill, that Prince was the better dancer because Prince didn't have a team of choreographers that were teaching him dance steps. Come at me, bro.
He was he lifted, wait. He lifted a number of that shit from James Brown. Motherfucking Michael Jackson took a lot of shit from James Brown and took that shit to another level. I will not take that away from Michael Jackson.
Well, no, I want to say that they were also saying that he didn't have to learn it. All they had to do was show him once and he could do it. It wasn't something that he had to learn.
Michael Jackson's an amazing dancer.
Michael Jackson, like, in other words, everybody else in Thriller had to practice it. He just had to go over it one time and he had it. No, they had to rehearse because they were about to perform. But dig this. When you're a dancer,
I've been to auditions. Lily, you've been to auditions. Dancers, you show them that shit one time. I was flabbergasted. I'm over here like trying to learn this shit. But when you're a dancer and that's your trade, they show you the shit 5, 6, 7, 8, this. And then they tell the dancers, go. And the dancers are fucking doing what the choreography was in the next thing. So that's not
what they
phenomenal.
said Michael Jackson did. That's exactly what they said.
Okay, so then, but any dancer can do that. If you are a dancer by trade, any dancer can do that. If you are a professional dancer, I've seen it. I've been in the room.
I will say this:
5, 6, 7, 8, and then it's like, how the fuck they know?
But I will say this. I will say this. Michael Jackson. One thing I will say is that Michael Jackson perfected the art of marketing and publicity, because Michael was the one, like all of those weird stories, he was the one to put them out. Right? Like, yeah, he was the one to put them out. So like he really understood. Because when I got older and started looking back on things, I was like, this motherfucker, if that's what they leave out. If you want to call him a genius, I will call him a marketing genius, because he took risks. Like where everybody else was trying to stay perfect, he made himself a weirdo, more weird than he really was, or probably, And so with the elephant bones and all these other little things, and then he made videos around like, leave me alone, don't talk about me. And come to find out, he was the one to put all this shit out, right?
But you know what? That's how I describe Madonna too. When people talk about Madonna's iconic, I think she's an iconic at marketing.
Yes.
Okay. She pushed the envelope. She did her own shit. So, they're entertainers and they're artists. So I'll say this: Michael Jackson, best entertainer. Prince, best artist, hands down. Michael Jackson was a great entertainer. He's a great entertainer. For sure.
No faith.
But not as good an artist as Prince. Didn't have as many beautiful women, wasn't as sexy.
No. You know what I mean?
Didn't want beautiful women.
Another
wasn't trying.
Another side of the fence, literally.
But it's amazing how we're talking about the three people, like even Priscilla Presley or what's her name? Presley. They're all dead now at 50 something years old. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Nah, y'all
it's a different type of trolling on the block. It's a different type of weirdo. I don't mind weirdo like, oh, let's turn the lights off so you can hear the music. First of all, Prince isn't the only one that did that. I went to see Maxwell. It was pitch black in that bitch, and all you heard was this. Everybody lost their minds.
I'm bringing a big flashlight.
There wasn't a dry panty in the house. Goosebumps. He came out to Woman's Work and it was pitch black, and this man was singing live. When I tell you, I almost threw myself off that fucking balcony. Pitch black, and you hear Maxwell come out in his prime. Not Maxwell now, but Maxwell in his fucking prime. Everybody went fucking wild, okay? No say complaining about lights, but I bet when you get naked, you turn the lights off, don't ya? Don't ya?
Depends. It depends. I did not when I was with my dominatrix. It was bright as could be.
Where are we going? What is happening? What is happening?
Freaky Friday was yesterday.
But Haran, who was on that motorcycle?
Apollonia, right?
Apollonia.
Yeah, Apollonia. Yeah, she gave John Stamos a hand job under a table when he was 18. I heard that straight from his. I couldn't believe that story.
Well, how old was she?
She was a little older.
I heard Apollonia was a real fun gal.
Yeah, I was like, damn, all right.
It was the 80s, bro.
It's nice to be. Yeah, it's nice to be Michael.
Everybody,
it's nice to be John Stamos. It's nice to be John.
Listen, everybody was a good. Everybody was a good time back then. Everybody was a good time back then. Everybody.
Yeah, you saw the song I sent you this morning from 1936. She make little Kim blush.
I love these little comments with like, well, who sold more records? Well, Vanilla Ice sold more records than Nas.
I hate that.
I always say that.
That record sales stuff, please come up off of that. Please come up off of that.
I wonder
because
what the sales for Alvin and the Chipmunk album was. Christmas
right,
album.
right. Like
Christmas time is here. Time
that
for
means
the joy.
nothing.
The cheer.
Oh,
That means absolutely nothing.
You know what's really funny though? Motherfuckers came for me the other day when they tried to say, "Oh, Kelly was better than Michael Jackson." I said, "Let me tell you something."
Oh, that name. That name.
Oh, they came at me real hard because I said that in comparison to Mike, R. Kelly was local. And that you have to understand that R. Kelly only charted twice on the Billboard 200 100, the global chart. He only charted twice. So he did a massive amount of hits, you know what I mean, that people think on a global scale. Michael had like 13 on a global scale, 13, you know what I mean, in comparison to everyone else. But overall, the conversation became, started to lean more to, who sold more records and all this other bullshit. And it's just like,
let's go. I don't mind saying the name R. Kelly. It just turns out they awarded $10.5 million for the terrorist threats that animal had his little buddies, do to the women that were testifying against them. So they awarded $10.5 million for those terroristic threats that him and his goons were trying to use to intimidate the women in this case. So fuck him.
I mean, you think about this that's a hard fall, man. Like you go through on top of the world for decades, and then it's like you broke, not rich people broke. You were not only broke, but you in prison, and you just like, damn.
You like me, bro.
Right.
Bills and houses paid. Like, nigga, I ain't got no money.
Damn, you have to be more careful.
Rest in peace, R. Kelly. Rest in piss, asshole.
Well, speaking of rest in peace.
What? Who died now?
Bob Barker.
Yeah, he did. Bob Barker. Jesus.
99 years old.
Wow. He
wasn't. Wait a minute.
Okay, hold on. I thought he was already dead.
Wasn't he already dead? He wasn't already dead?
No, he died today.
Jen, I always kill people. Like, I'm known for killing people. Like, I always say, y'all better speak up. Y'all better say something. If y'all don't say nothing too long, I'm going to swear you did.
The reason I knew he was still alive is because within the last couple of weeks, I'm thinking, man, Bob Barker's got to be dying soon. Because I was thinking to myself, that dude's still alive. I knew he was still alive, And then today I looked up, like, there it is.
Can we say, bum, 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 bum. Well, rest in peace to that man.
Ain't nobody gonna be left. Riches and roaches after it's all said.
Now,
and share.
But let's be real. The time we live in today is you could see the difference. Like, okay, he went through his little lawsuits where the girls that had the prices, remember? But he also any woman that would come up on stage when they would win the little $100 for guessing reach in that pocket. Get that $100 out there. That stuff would not fly today.
But you know what? Back then, one mic. So you remember back then, a lot of those men were doing that little freaky deaky, touchy feely stuff on stage. A lot of them. Remember that guy that was kissing the kids and telling the kids to kiss him and stuff. So back then it was icky.
Or what's the guy, the Family Feud guy?
Yeah, he was kissing the wives.
Yeah,
grab that motherfucker on the fucking throat. You ain't kissing my wife in front of me, man. Fuck wrong.
He actually married one of the contestants eventually, the one that stayed with him. Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of music and artistry and artists, this from my desk, a little fluff. Miguel, the singer, who I absolutely adore. And it was funny because the other night I was like, I wonder what happened to that little man. I haven't heard from him, but he's dropping a new album, I think. So he decided to do something risque during a performance. I'm going to show you what he did. And it was one of those things where I'm like, yo, these artists are really running out of shit
I was to say you call that risque. I was trying to find another word for it. Like,
Yeah, I would say so. But it seems like everybody's trying to out clout each other, and it's fine. We're all working on this clout. But it's funny to see the celebrities do it and not come up with better PR stunts. But whatever. Let me show you what he did on stage. This is what he did. I was like, okay, go.
I'm gonna be okay. A little help from my friends on the edge of it, yeah. And I think it's gonna be alright. But I guess it all depends. I think it's gonna.
Okay, so that is what he did. He put hooks in his back and he went, he did a little aerial act. So before I continue the story, what do you guys think about that? Do you think that was cool? Do you think he's an artist? Is what happens? I thought he looked uncomfortable myself.
right.
I thought he looked uncomfortable. It didn't look sexy. It didn't look like, yeah, I'm up here. It is what it is. He looked very careful and scared and like, what the fuck am I doing? But let me do this performance. It didn't give what I think he thought it would give, but that's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Yeah.
BDS in certain contexts. I've seen that done before. Not to me,
Mhm.
but I've seen that done
Mhm.
before.
Yeah, I've seen it done before. But
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it at magic shows and shit like that.
My thing in the back of my mind is like, that's going to be one hell of a story to tell if some shit malfunction. And half of your back, you over there hanging, and like one of the hooks is out, and you hanging on one of that shit, and like half of your body, and like, look, listen, I can hear the nervousness in his voice. You could, if you listen closely, you can hear
Right.
the pitch. Like, this motherfucker is like, good God Almighty, I hope nothing go wrong. And
Right,
I'm like,
and that's
it's just
right.
that serious. It's never that serious, bro. It's like,
Okay, so
you know what?
that's mhm.
This clout shit is like, look, everything is about escalation. Things just escalate. One day a motherfucker just gonna come on stage and fuck around, cut his dick off in front of every fucking body.
Oh no! Didn't somebody do something similar?
A rapper.
Yeah,
But he wasn't
rapper,
on stage.
yeah.
He wasn't
Okay, he
on
wasn't
stage.
on stage. Okay,
But he
yeah.
cut his dick off. He was mad at his dick.
Yeah.
He cut his dick off.
Right. I do know that was done already. Sorry, Haran, that
Stand
was already
correct.
done.
Stand
Yeah.
corrected.
He sure did. He was mad as fuck his dick. He said,
Someone's taking a dump on stage. We've seen a lot.
the
Like
bat. Was it the bat or the squirrel? Somebody bit somebody's.
that was
Oh,
Ozzy
that's like
Osbourne.
40 years ago. That's like 40 fucking
Yeah.
50 years ago.
Right. Some of these guys were ahead of their time. Ahead of their
Mhm.
time.
Yeah, they got-
That was an
Madonna
accident. That was actually an accident, but
It was?
yeah, it was a
Ozzy
fan
was
that threw up a real bat, but he thought it was he didn't know it was a real bat, and then he bit the bat's head off, and then he had to go to the hospital and get a bunch of rabies shots.
I remember. Yeah, he did say that. It was Ozzy, right?
So he didn't know.
Mhm.
Wait a minute. Was the bat alive?
Don't
No
know.
one-
And you got to realize
No.
the guy was probably on a ton of drugs. So
Oh, okay, because I was
who's
about to say an accident might listen.
Yeah, he was on a lot of drugs.
Yeah, it
So-
was Black Sabbath.
So here's where the plot thickens, right? Oh, that looks sexy. So here's where the plot thickens, right? So I'm all in the comments because I want to see what people got to say, right? So everybody was tagging this other guy, Simbi. He jacking your shit, Simbi said. And I'm like, who the hell is Simbi? I want to know who Simbi. Who the fuck is Simbi?
Yeah, did you ride over there?
I rode over there. I pulled up
Okay.
lately.
Okay, because I'm like,
Yeah, so I rode over there. Turns out he's not the first person to do this. And I got the guy who did it way back in January. So now there's some buzz going on. Basically, it's kind of fucked up when I do it, but when you do it, it's okay, right? Same like with the Kardashians. Like if we pull up to a 9-to-5 job with cornrows, we're ghetto, but these bitches can run around cornrows, then it's, you know what I mean? It's in vogue,
chic.
right? It's chic, right? So this artist, Simbi, was like, hold up. I ain't no Miguel, but I did that shit first. And I have his video here. He was like, hold on. And when you see this, I think this is how it should be done if you're going to monkey around, okay? If you're going to monkey around, go all out. He said,
With all of that stress, hands up. I can't afford to relax. I've been walking, been smoking, been drinking. I might get hooked. 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 I might get hooked.
Oh, he about that action. See, that's a difference. Miguel looked like somebody put him up to it, and he reluctantly did it because his whatever his views are going down, his numbers are going down, his ticket sales are going down, something's going down, and so he's like, "Oh, okay." Because be honest, when was the last time we talked about him? Come on, you said you were just asking about
right,
him.
I was out because I was wondering because I always see his girl like she's like I'm divorced. She's doing the divorced bitch shit. Like I'm amazing. No one matters. She's doing the shit that women do when women break. You know how it is when women break up with men. Oh my god, right? She's doing that shit. So Ron, you know what I'm talking about. I recognize it. Okay, so this guy. I even like the lyrics. He's saying, I might get hooked. I might get hooked. So it matches.
It matched.
Right?
Part of the thing.
So he released a statement and he's like, no. And his statement was as follows. He said, this Simbi guy. Yeah, he's
so
like,
you mean
no,
to tell
wait.
me that Miguel done did all of that only to be clowned? See? To be like, you're a copycat. You're not even original.
Right. This is what he said. He said, hold on now. Pump the brakes on the hooks. Okay. He said, guys, instead of sending me the video of Miguel, and he added him. Okay. He's about that life. He said, instead of sending me the video of Miguel biting my sauce, just tag me in the videos or send it to the shade room, laughing my ass off. I did this first, damn it. And you know what? I feel the brother. I agree with him 100% because a lot of these celebrities are on social media way more than you think. If I can show you some of my DMs, I got some of your favorites in my DMs, okay? And if I'm fucking lying, I'm flying. These celebrities, they travel a lot. They have a lot of downtime. And during their downtime, just like Beyonce's team, okay? They're on social media looking for ideas. All right. Yep. Looking for ideas, which is a great segue for the story, for the topic of tonight. But people are on social media and they have teams working for them. It's usually not them online, or if they're taking a flight, it's them online and they're biting sauce. So I think that man should get all the freaking credit because he did do it first. And it was Miguel did exactly what he did. 2 hooks up in the air, doing a little leg thing. Get that man that credit. That was disrespectful. Give him his credit. And he did it better.
Right.
Ironically, as we had the previous conversation about MJ, allegedly Michael stole the moonwalk from a break dancer.
Right. Oh, I saw it. I saw the guy. I saw the guy. Like there's a video. If you look up.
Believable.
Yeah, when you look up the video of the guy that's doing all the dances, the Annie, are you okay dances and all of that, and it was way back in the 80s during the breaking. It was during the breaking era. You're like, oh, it blows your mind because you're like, I thought Michael invented that. You lied to me, So, give this brother his credit, and it's messed up because this guy doesn't have a lot of followers. Miguel is up in the millions, so it's messed up that these celebrities can take your work and they already have millions of followers, and you sitting on 20,000 followers and you doing your best to make it. That was wrong. Get that man that credit. If I was Miguel, and I know Miguel got word by now because all these people got little PR people online. I'm sure he got the word. Get that man his credit. Don't be a bitch.
Shit, I'm gonna take it a step further. I'm suspecting sometimes people be stealing our shit because there's things that we've said on this show that I had never heard no one else say on another show, and then the very next day, a bigger podcaster will say exactly verbatim what one of us said on this show. So yes, the shit happens.
Yep, it happens all the time. And they think they can get away with it because they have a bigger following. Adam Hearn, thank you for the super chat. Can I get some more super chats on this Saturday night? Gracias. Adam Hearn says, Jen, did TK Kirkland really get knocked out? I met him a couple days ago. I don't know if he got knocked out. I did hear his name buzzing because he was beefing with somebody else. I didn't look into it yet, but as soon as I look into it, I will bring y'all the story. TK Kirkland, not a big fan of his attitude. That motherfucker is a specimen of a man, boy. In person, specimen of a man. Gorgeous, tall. He got that weird mouth I like. I like weird mouths. The mouths that kind of stay open and I got the little thing. Nice beard, tall, very, big, gorgeous specimen of a man. However, his Instagram, a lot of his posts, I'm like, when I hear a man complain a lot about women, it turns me off. Right?
Yeah.
Pick better. Like you tell us. Like men tell us, pick better. So you're not online fucking complaining about bitches all the time. Haram, what were you saying?
You got to look at it like this. So I'm not excusing these celebs and these bigger brands and so on. When you're at a particular level, a lot of them, when they're at a particular level.
Touche, doll, touche. Because even y'all were taller than me when I met you.
Uh-huh.
I just mean he was very tall.
When you're at a particular level and you're at a bigger brand, a lot of them don't have the ear to the street like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they don't have that connection to the common man or the common person. So I can see them going out there and trying to steal shit and so on and so forth or whatever. These motherfuckers don't really know what's going on and shit like that. So I can see them going out there and trying to steal shit and pluck shit, you know what I mean, and try to spin it and so on. Again, I'm not giving them any leeway on it, but I can see the possibility of a number of them doing that. Is there something you want to say, Mr. White Man? Is there something you see?
Yeah, I just find it funny. I find it really funny. Some of the stuff really funny.
You got very anxious.
Well, no, I'm smiling because, okay, I saw the 2 videos. I'm sure they weren't the first 2 to ever be suspended by their backs doing something. So I'm thinking I'm almost positive they didn't invent it themselves, that they got the idea from somebody else. When it comes to art, you're going to get mimicked. That's just the way it is. Unless you can trademark something and bring it to court. I mean, people borrow all the time. I mean, that's just, or improve, borrow, improve, take an idea, make it better. So for me, it's kind of funny when he's saying he invented it. Did he? I don't know.
Okay, that's not what he said. He said that he did it first.
He was the first one. All right. Was he the first one?
No. In R&B, yes, he's the first one.
Okay, now we're slicing it pie. Okay, in R&B. But maybe not in folk music somewhere else, or maybe not in Africa.
No.
But in R&B, I'll give him R&B.
Don't bring Africa into this. Watch a step, okay? The second thing is, look, I've seen the hook thing. I've seen the hook thing at magic shows. I've seen it. I've seen it in Hellraiser. I've seen it. But as far as an artist on stage doing R&B, whatever, I had never seen that before till Miguel did it. However, he wasn't the first one to do it. The other guy did it. So I get what you're saying.
I know. But this is why.
And to your point, no saying. No one, yes, we know that nobody's done it first. The point is, if you're going to do it, improve on it and take it a step further. Yeah. Miguel didn't even do that. With this gentleman he switched it up and took it a step further, because that's something you was not going to expect a black man instead singing live to do. So yes, that was an improvement. It was done first in that genre, in that field, right? No one's done none of this shit first, right? And then Miguel just did the same exact thing a few months later. So that's what the issue is. It's like, I don't think that everyone knows that people are going to borrow and be inspired by people, but just don't do the shit verbatim. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm inspired by Star. Like I ain't
right.
And I get like
Star.
I do get Jen's point that they're both in the same kind of genre. It rubs me the wrong way, because I'll see it and they do it in sports all the time. It's the first time this guy stubbed his toe and scored a touchdown. They make categories like, no, it's not the first time. Okay, he stubbed his toe on that blade of grass. You know, that's what makes it unique. He stubbed his toe on that grass. That's all I'm saying. It just, those kind of things rub me the wrong way.
Let me get these super chats real quick. Let me get these super chats because people are showing me love, so I have to acknowledge it. Thank you so much for the super chat, Fahim Jackson. Fahim Jackson says, "Good artists copy, great artists steal. That is from musicians to painters to writers, etc. It's very few humans in history who are original. Very few, but we exist." Thank you so much for the super chat, Miss Ruth. Love the block, and we love you back. Good to see you here. And Haran's gonna take his shirt off in a little bit.
Let me lose like a 50 more, and then I'll do it. There was a time when I did, but
go ahead, Haran.
There was a time when I did, but I don't look like that anymore. Anyway,
okay, so
one second.
Yeah.
Here's another thing too when it comes to copywriting and trademarking. Not saying that you should do it. You should always protect yourself, always. But a lot of times when you're going up against a certain, adversary, that shit is bullshit, and they know it's bullshit because you got to get a lawyer. Your case has to come, in front of the fucking judge, and you can sue as long as you want. The other side knows. They're like, yeah, sue. I don't give a fuck, but it'll probably be 2-3 fucking years before your case comes up. We'll make all our fucking money, and at the end of the day, we'll probably just cut you a check to go away anyway. So, you know how many songs and shit have been stolen? Shit, I've got my shit stolen. Straight up and down. I've got my performance stolen.
Well, Katy Perry, listen, but at least pay. Fuck it. Sue, trademark, copyright, at least fuck it. Because Katy Perry, she went and she had to come out of her pocket. The label had to pay, and she also had to come out of her pocket for that lawsuit. And it's just not fair. I feel a ways about it. Like my daughter, when she was very, very, very young, she was doing her little acting thing and auditioning. And I'll never forget, she auditioned for a Nike commercial for Spike Lee. And you know me, you guys know I write on the spot. You guys know this. You experienced it. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, she was at an audition and we got the sides, which is a piece of the script. And I trained my daughter, like, say it like this, add this, add this. That's what I do. Like I do it like breathing. We were the only ones that came in with a WNBA ball. And these kids were little, like 6, 7 or so. The only little girl, I was like, we going to go extra. We're going to show them that you really, got her a little WNBA ball and everything. We in there. So as show business goes, right, went in there, they loved her, gave her a call back, which is they call you back again because now Spike wants to see you in person. We do that shit. Take her back. I go on a fucking cruise. Fuck. They call her back again. Fuck. And I'm not in the States to take her there. So her dad had to take her. But I'm so like, me, I'm a mother. And so I'm like, I gotta be there. I was livid that I couldn't be there. So took her, whatever. Fine. She booked, right? A week later, they call us last minute. Nike or whoever the fuck decided to go with teenagers instead of little kids. That happens in show business all the time.
Happens all the time to me.
All the time. You think you in, and then they're like, we changed our mind. We want a white woman. It happens all, and let me say, you already planned this shit with the money.
Oh, I don't already want a boat and fed the starving kids in Africa. Now I gotta go take the food back out their mouth.
Right. So you know that, but sometimes you get that phone call. So we got that phone call, right? And this was big money, $35,000, but she wasn't, the stipulation was she'd never be eligible for a sports scholarship. I don't know what the connection is, but they was like, if she does this commercial, she's not eligible for a sports scholarship. Fine. I was like, I don't give a fuck. My baby's not going to play sports, right? Great. So we get the phone call. They decide, they want to go with older children. I don't know if it was Nike or Spike or Michael Jordan. I don't know what it was. Anyway, they cut all the young kids and put teenagers. I kid you not, my daughter and I are watching TV. The commercial fucking airs. We're sitting there and the fucking girl is saying the shit that I told my daughter to say at the fucking audition. And my daughter, as little as she was, looks at me and she's like, Mommy, she said what you told me to say. And I was sitting there on the couch and I was like, you son of a bitch, you owe me. And I promise you, I met Spike after that, but it wasn't a situation for that conversation, right? Because it was a friend of a friend. We went to set. We was in Brooklyn. I met him and I was looking at him like, motherfucker, I know you. But I promise you, the day is going to come when I talk to Spike and I'll be like, hey, you remember? And I'm going to bring it up because that's who I am. But I'm going to bring it up. But we sat there. We were in the living room. And the shit comes on and the girl is saying the fucking lines. And I was like,
it's so wrong.
Bitch.
They will steal your shit.
So I feel a ways because it's a power thing. Like, who am I, a woman in the Bronx, New York, who's working a regular corporate job? You know what I'm saying? It's like, what am I gonna do? Spike stole my shit. Like, you know,
Nobody wants to hear it.
It happens.
The
It happens.
The one thing I will say though, in this social media world,
Mm-hmm.
I am a big opponent and a big supporter of create a fucking stink if you fucking can, because you never know how fast that wildfire catch. Because when I got my shit taken away from me, this was with the pre-internet era. I just had to eat it. I had no fucking money for no fucking lawyers. I can't go up against Sony. You know what I mean? I'll get fucking blackballed. I'll get done. You know what I mean? No matter how.
And they know that. And they know that. And they know that. They know that you're not going to fight. You can't afford to fight. And if you do fight, they'll just cut you a check. They're like, all right, get out of here.
And blackball you.
In this era, though, where bad news travels fast and motherfuckers just want to have you say anything just for clicks, you better raise a stink. Go ahead and say that. Man.
So you know what? It's a delicate balance. Like when I'm auditioning, right? I'm like Jen. I like to embody the character and show them I am this fucking character. So I'm going to create a whole scene in my house.
Add shit. You add shit.
Yeah, add shit. If it's got to look like a damn restaurant, my shit gonna look like a restaurant. I'm gonna do the whole thing, and it's a fine line of a balance in between of trying to do that so that you can get that part versus how much am I adding to that they're gonna steal from me, right?
And Haran, it is weird too when you bring him to court because, like, remember the Thick and Marvin Gaye, and they said that song was lifted.
Yes.
I listened to it. I didn't necessarily hear that, but when I listened to Bruno Mars and Sting or Police, SOS, they almost sound identical. I don't think anything ever came of that. And it's just like, sometimes they say things are, and I'm like, I mean, you might know music more than me.
No, but I heard it. The Marvin Gaye and Robin Thicke, I heard it. It was obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear the SOS? It was more obvious than the SOS and the Bruno Mars.
I don't know because I don't know that case. I don't know. Did they sue though? Did they sue? Did somebody sue?
I'll give you a different case. It was a case between Ray Parker Jr. and Ghostbusters he created, and he pretty much lifted Huey Lewis in the News as "I Need a New Drug." Now he lifted that shit up like a motherfucker. The melody was there, the groove was there, everything. This motherfucker took the whole shit. Now when you're dealing with the Marvin Gaye and Thick shit, okay, it could went either way because you cannot copyright a chord progression. You can copyright a melody and a groove. It's easy to say that. Well, we kind of have the same groove because, like Spanish music, most of Spanish music has a kind of groove. Most of blues music has a kind of groove. There was a lot of gray areas in there. Now, I've heard a ton of stuff where somebody literally, and I know the person lifted it, a chord progression, damn near melody from someone's song, and nobody said anything. But it happens in the music industry. But you can't. Everybody lifts some shit off of somebody, but you can't sit here and take someone's melody, someone's fucking groove, take the whole fucking shit and just plaster a whole new name on the fucking shit. Be like, oh no, it's an original song.
Right?
Fucking not. You literally took this guy's fucking record, man. You know what I mean? What Ray Parker Jr. really did. Now, the Blurred Lines case, to this day, I'm like, on paper, no. Now, listen, on paper, it's a different record. Listening to it, I can understand how the average person could be like, this sounds like the same fucking thing. So I can see both sides of the coin when it comes to that record.
And they won.
Yeah, they did.
So to hell with Pharrell. Robin Thicke is a nice guy. I met him. He's really nice.
Yeah, Pharrell done did a lot of dirty shit. A lot of
Say who? What? Who? Because you were both talking at the same time.
You have a problem with Pharrell?
I do. Pharrell be stealing a lot, not just music, but money too. So
no, Pharrell. I mean, it's a couple of artists have accused Pharrell of stealing. A couple of artists, Khalees. You know,
I know people who worked with Pharrell, and that's not necessarily not true. So.
Yeah, I mean, you know, again, it's a power thing. Robin Thicke is nice. I met him and he said, "Aren't we pretty?" And I was like,
That's your little trademark.
Thank you so much for the super chat. Adam Hearn says, "No Saint, when you going to break down Egypt and the Nile? Hotep Nation got gentrified." Yeah, you saw how No Saint threw Africa at us. I said, "Wow,
What they got to do with this?
Hey.
No, I'm just saying, worldwide. I'm sure since I believe life began in Africa. Life began in Africa. I'm sure there's a lot of things that happened in Africa before anywhere else in the world.
Order.
Ain't nobody come over there and steal niggas until y'all came over there. I'll tell you that much.
Order in the court. Lord Almighty, what is happening? What is happening? Ooh, all right. Shit. Great segue, because Steve Harvey.
What that comment was about, right?
What you said earlier?
He wasn't talking about because I brought up Africa. No, he's talking about the conscious community over on Sun Editors channel. That's what he's talking about.
Oh.
But it worked because I brought up Africa.
A few of them said it. Yeah, because a few of them said the same. Like, they was all making those jokes in the chat. I don't know if you missed them or not.
Yeah, no, look, he said it right here. Adam Hearn said, "No Saint said Africa," laughing out loud. So I think that's what he was talking about.
Yeah, a few of them said it. Like, even Ruler's back. A few of them was talking. They was making Hotep jokes about you.
Yeah, everybody woke up when you said that. Yeah. Don't do That's this funny. Trolling on the block. Don't be a dick rider, because you don't know him personally. I hate when people do this. You don't know him personally. Nothing wrong with Pharrell. You don't know him personally. That's why these celebrities get away with murder and pedophilia, because they could do no wrong, right? All you know about them is their music, and you're like, nothing wrong with Pharrell. You don't know who that man is, or what he does, or what he stole. We don't know these people.
They fail to realize that these motherfuckers are people with jobs. Okay, it's what I'm not gonna say it here. I'm gonna tell you all, because I thought of a skit around this, around how people deify. Yeah, how people deify celebrities or whatever. So yeah, because it's really silly.
Okay, so segue to our main topic tonight. Steve Harvey apologizes for unfunny comedian tweet. Steve Harvey apologizes for unfunny comedian tweet. Now, it's a great segue from what we were talking about, because I see a lot of not only comedians, but a couple actors and entertainers and R&B people and whatever. What they have now is basically, I don't know, these PR teams handling their social media. And if you notice, I know D.L. Hughley does it a lot. I know Steve Harvey does it. I've seen Tyrese does it. Basically, what they do is they just start throwing out stories on their social media, just the way Hollywood Unlocked would do, or the Shade Room would do. So you would go to a D.L. Hughley page and see a lot of the race shit that's happening, or you go to Tyrese's page, you see a lot of that, and you're like, did Tyrese post this? So it's kind of obvious that they're not posting, but they're posting current events, right? To keep them in the algorithm, right? So you're not going to see D.L. Hughley posting his comedy or his skits. He's constantly posting current events. Tyrese does it. Steve Harvey does it. So what had happened was, right, there was a tweet that came from Steve Harvey's Twitter account and said, what comedian basically do you think is not funny at all? Right? So Just Hilarious clapped back. It's crazy that Steve Harvey would ask this, right? Because people have said Steve Harvey's not funny. They've also said Just Hilarious is not funny. Corey Holcomb calls her less hilarious instead of just hilarious. So, comedy, I guess, is what? Objective, subjective. Like, some people think Kevin Hart is knocked down, knocked down, knee slapping funny. Some people say, no, the fuck he's not. He's just good at marketing. He's that friendly, happy-go-lucky Negro, and everybody likes him because, he's not threatening, and he's cute. He's like a little puppy that hops around. Everybody loves him. So anyway, fast forward, this tweet came from Steve Harvey's page, and everybody got on him like, how dare you, ask about who's not funny. Just Hilarious commented. So then Just Hilarious's people went after Steve Harvey, and Steve Harvey's people went after Just Hilarious. And Steve Harvey apologized. And I want you to see, here is the proof that these people do not manage their social media. They got these young folks running their social media, and these young folks are doing what young folks do on social media, staying in the algorithm and asking controversial questions to start a fucking, a fight, a cat and dog fight in the comments. So this is what Steve Harvey was saying. He was like, hey, wait a minute. And this was his comment after everybody went at him.
All right, I got to take some time to address this here. I came down here to get away, get in some nature, do some fishing. Somebody works for me on my Twitter, put a statement out that was totally negative. I got to take responsibility for it because they work for me. But the engagement was talking about name a comedian you don't think is funny. Why would I do something like that? That don't even make no damn sense. My whole brand is to be motivational. And I'm going to turn around and say something like that. You don't know where these young people at in their career, man. They could be coming up in anything. I'm all about positivity. I would have never done nothing like that. I'm so pissed off right now, man. Talking about I was trying to get some engagement. Okay. Be trying to get some employment too. My bad, y'all. Now I got to come on here and do something, doing a damn selfie. So here it is. I'm sorry, man. My bad, y'all. Won't happen again, though.
Where's my violin? Do you got a violin over there?
I do not.
Because I'm gonna go ahead. I need.
He had to apologize to Obama or some shit like that. It's just hilarious. You know what I mean? She's not funny. She's not. And I just want to say one thing. The one thing that I hate is it fucking grinds my gears. I hate that word fucking subjective when it comes to every fucking thing. No. A lot of things really aren't as subjective as you fucking think it is. If someone says that, hey, you know what? That person's cooking is terrible. If 7 out of 8 or 10 people, if 8 out of 10 people says your cooking is fucking terrible, I can almost guarantee you suck as a fucking cook. Okay? Well, if those are the 2 people who said that, you know what I mean? Like, oh no, it's not that bad. Either they were trying to be nice, they have terrible fucking ballots. 9 times out of 10, if someone becomes popular, if an idea or a product becomes popular, it became popular because it's good. Okay? A whole bunch of people found it useful, you know what I mean, to some degree. Maybe that might be not talented in a particular area, but they knew how to market the fuck out of something else, or they knew how to place themselves in the right fucking situation. You know, maybe what you got, what your product is, maybe it's not that good, and maybe it's not because, you know, I mean, art or music or whatever, comedy is subjective. Maybe you're just not funny.
You know what Adam Burgess said?
97 with next to Charlemagne and shit like that. So maybe you're just not fucking funny.
Well, Adam Burgess said something, and I'm like, you know what? She's probably the girl who's funny in her inner circle, and then her inner circle was like, oh girl, you know what you should do? You should do them car videos and tell jokes from your car. And then it was 2020, people was held hostage in their house, and then they watched her. She got a lot of views equal brand deals, and that's how we're stuck with her for right now.
I mean, anybody could be called funny. Shit, I could be called funny.
So let me ask you this, Haran. When you say, of course, there are restaurants, right? Let's say food specifically, I think is easy. But like if, you know, I check Yelp reviews. I'm also a Yelper. Okay. So if you see over and over again, you know, the food is trash, eventually you're going to be like, the food is probably crap at this place, right? But when it comes to art, like whether it's music or singing or comedy, we can say, and a lot of us could say, Jess Hilarious is not funny. And a lot of us could say Steve Harvey's not funny. And a lot of us could say Kevin Hart's not funny. But the motherfuckers, they sell out. They sell out arenas, not Jess Hilarious. You know what I mean? She probably sells out clubs, but Steve Harvey can sell out a show. Kevin Hart for sure can do an arena. You know, so it's, how can we not say it's not subjective? If I'm like, I wouldn't buy that ticket, but then when you look at his ticket sales, he sold out the show.
No, but here's the thing. I understand totally what you're saying. I can still say that motherfucker is not funny. However, he could be great in other areas. Kevin Hart is amazing at marketing. He's amazing at being relatable. He's amazing at
Right.
other things that you don't necessarily have to be incredibly funny to be. You know what I mean? Steve Harvey, he's amazing at other. He can host the fuck out of a situation. You don't necessarily have to be funny to do that. You know what I mean? Now, if he Bernie Mac fucking funny, nightclub funny, this motherfucker gonna have you knee slapping? Hell the fuck no. But is he talented in other areas where he can actually get a, you know what I mean, get a bag offer? Yes, I will give that to Steve Harvey. But if we're gonna sit here and we're gonna say pound for pound, if we're going to say this is the metric, this person is funny, this person is comedic, this person is a comedic genius, then I'm going to measure you on that. Now you can now me measuring you on that doesn't mean you can't get a bag. I'm not going to sit here and say that you can't get a bag. You could probably look great, have the right connections, know how to market yourself, put yourself around the right people, and so on and so forth. But I can still say that, you did great in that area. You still ain't fucking funny though.
So that's how I feel about Lala, right? I've like for years of like, why is she still in our face? Why are we stuck with this girl? Why is she still like? And then it hit me. I was like, yeah, why are you here? Like, why are you still here? Because I remember she was introduced to us as a TV person. Well, she was introduced to Atlanta first as a radio personality, but she was introduced to me as a TV personality, and I was like, where's the personality?
You mean TRL, the MTV TRL? She was so bland on that show.
She has zero personality to me. Like, she has no personality. And so then throughout the years, job after job after job, the girl stays working. Love that. You know, I'm no hater because I'm just wondering, what the fuck? Like, am I the only? I feel like the man on the monster on the plane. I'm like, am I the only one? Because every job she gets, I'm like, she's not qualified for. Now she's acting. It is atrocious. But then it hit me. It's like what Haran said. It was like her talent. She's a professional best friend. She's a professional networker. That's it. And I was like, okay, I get it. That's her talent. I shut up. I rest my case.
And not only that, but being married to Carmelo got her in rooms that she wouldn't have been in. Carmelo and Danae.
Jen knows this. I think Cat Williams is a fucking genius.
I think he's fucking hilarious. Cat Williams is funny.
Cat Williams is and will never be as big as Kevin Hart. Cat don't know how to keep his ass out of jail. He don't know how to stop taking fucking drugs. This nigga's fucking crazy. You know what I mean?
Fighting kids at a high school.
His comedic ability, man, is a genius. Whip, you know what I mean? Razor sharp, everything. But that doesn't mean you're going to be famous. That doesn't mean you're going to get the huge bag.
Correct. I mean, you know, it's like you brought up earlier Vanilla Ice and people like Britney Spears or whatever. These people, they go platinum. And how many times have we seen someone in our neighborhoods that could rap or sing? And it's like, damn, you should sing. And it's like, you know, and they just never do.
I mean, like, let's just call it straight or straight. Britney Spears is trailer park trash from Louisiana that got really, really lucky. Because when you surround her with the team, the hair, the makeup, the wardrobe, that's a whole different human being. The moment they go home and clock out.
She's on Instagram spinning around like a meth head.
I'm like, and this is every time over the last 20 years. Anytime she has to dress herself, do her own hair, dance, like create her own dance moves, anything she has to do herself, it's always giving me trailer park trash. Every single. And why is one track always showing? And why is this permanent outliner always running? Like, what the fuck is going on?
That's what happens when the team goes home.
Every time I see Britney Spears, I feel like she just hit that bong or she just hit that crack pipe and she just got in front of the camera and she started doing the shit where she, you know what I mean? I'm just like,
oops, I did it again.
Oh, baby, how was I supposed to know?
This is a perfect example. Two perfect examples.
Something wasn't right here.
Why do you sound exactly like her? Like, what the
fuck? Baby, I shouldn't have let you go. Oh.
That's my point, man. Like,
can't do this.
You can just literally mimic this. She had the right bells and whistles. and writes comic. You know what I mean? Like, look, listen, two people, grand example. Johnny Gill versus Bobby Brown. Let's keep it real. Johnny Gill could sing circles around Bobby Brown. However, Bobby was the bigger talent because Bobby could dance his ass off. He could pick the right records. He could sing well enough. He just had a lot of great energy. You know what I mean?
You don't want to fight me in a minute, Haran. You don't want to fight me in a minute. I loathe Johnny Gill's voice.
Anyway, we just gonna talk about that off the. We just gonna talk about off the camera. That's gonna be the rest of the. That's gonna be the rest of this cast.
It's one of the most fucking, and it is like a Costco Teddy Pendergrass. It is horrible. He has no fucking melody. My. He puts on the Teddy Pendergrass really heavy. He is not Teddy, okay? He sounds like shit. It hurts my ears.
Is it the over singing for you? Because
it's the over singing.
Because I love Johnny's voice. My when Johnny is, I love Johnny. No, I'm saying I love Johnny's voice, right? The thing is, he has that thing that Fantasia does when they're live, and they just go, they go off, and it's just like, oh, no, calm it down and let's smooth it out, and let's bring that, like this, let's make that key real sharp. You know, they just get really excited. But I love his voice.
That green vegan, can Bobby still get it right now? Because I saw him on stage. He looked a little tired. No, I don't like. You know what it is? I think music.
I forgot he's from DC.
Well, you don't like Aaron music. You don't like the yellers. You said you don't like. I
don't like. I told you before. I listen to music either to motivate me to do something, or if something is soothing. If I want to hear someone that sounds like Johnny Gill, I'll fucking throw DMX on. I don't want my R&B yelled at me. I do not want my R&B yelled at me. That's not why I listen to R&B. If I want to hear that shit, I'll throw on DMX. Okay, I don't want to hear I don't want to hear my R&B that way. I don't want my R&B that way.
God damn it!
I wouldn't pay 5 cents. I wouldn't pay 5 cents to see a Johnny Gill, not 5 cents.
So what's funny is I went to see New Edition. I went to see New Edition in concert, right? And I went to see New Edition in concert, and you know how they all had solo careers, right? So you had Johnny, you had Ralph, you had BBD, and you had Bobby. Bobby was there. This was back when they all got back together for the Coming Home tour, '97. Okay,
they didn't need Johnny for that, by the way. When Bobby came back, they should have sent him on his way. They should have sent Johnny on. We didn't need all of them on stage.
Listen. It was a wonderful.
You putting too much on Johnny Gill. You putting much too much on Johnny Gill. Much too much.
The Johnny Gill was the reason that helped New Edition cross over into a.
They didn't need him. They didn't need him.
When they grew older,
Costco Teddy Pendergrass. Teddy Pendergrass. Lily, you were saying.
So they all sung their solo songs, and I think like the solo songs, they got like 2 apiece. Like BBD got 2, and Ralph had 2, Bobby had 2, and so on. And Johnny can only do 1 because he turned my mama into a 30-minute song, right? And so it was like he was able to do just 1 song. I love Johnny, but it was like Johnny, we get it. So
you are not Luther, and you are not Teddy. Okay, knock it off.
Yes, George Cook. I would say Cat Williams is like a buddy guy. Yes, that would be the best.
He's a what guy?
Buddy guy. He's a guitarist. He was a guitar player. Now very influential guitar player.
I can take Keith in small doses.
Keith?
In small doses, yeah.
Keith Sweat?
His pen is crazy. But that nasal shit, like
that's what I'm saying.
I had Make It Last Forever on cassette. Okay, I had the little cassette. He was on there with his sweater. He was wearing his sweater.
His pen game is sickness. But you know, I love. Yeah.
Look, see the The Green Vegan said they can replace Johnny with DMX. They sure the fuck can. If I listen, I don't want my R&B yelled at me. Do not yell my R&B at me. And that goes to Fantasia too. Don't yell my R&B at me. Go yell at somebody else.
See, I like Fantasia on albums when she's live.
I don't think Fantasia could sing. I never thought Fantasia was that good.
And you think Johnny Gill can sing? You think that Fantasia?
They are one and the same.
Thank you, Lily. They are one and the same. Yes, they
They're one and the
are.
same.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
And they got that churchy background. They have that churchy background, and they sometimes like. And I love them both. What I'm saying is, but the thing is, when they're live, some of them don't know how to tone it back and have control over their vocals. They get.
That's how you know. Hold on, Haran. That's how you know that shit is real. Because somebody who don't care a fuck about them is saying it, and someone who loves them both is saying it. That's how you know somebody sucks ass. That's how you know. He sucks ass.
Y'all going someplace with it.
He's an eyesore. He is an eyesore. I grew up. I'm saying he sucks ass. Listen, probably. Anyway, that's another show. Listen.
Somebody in the chat. We didn't say it. Somebody in the chat already said it. We didn't say it.
But I say that he was an eyesore to me. I grew up on New Edition. I don't like change. And when Bobby came back, they should have told him, we no longer need your services. It was great. Thank you.
No, man.
We don't need 10 New Edition members up there.
That's looking like Drew Hill. Drew Hill got a whole choir now. They got the Harlem Boys choir up there.
Did you see their recent tour, Lily? Did you see that?
Orlando was there. He said it was 7 people on stage. Yes. And then Jazz came out and did a couple of songs, you know.
And then when Johnny Gill came out, I was like, he's not up there for fucking, I can't believe he's up there for the fucking, the gall, this is New Edition, bitch. Okay. And he was up there. Lily, he was up there, okay, like he was Luther fucking Vandross. So I was like, somebody tell him to go already. He was up there yelling and yelling. I was like, okay, time for me to go to the bathroom and get me a nice drink. I'll be right back because he's going to still be on stage when I get back.
He gets a bit passionate at times, I admit.
Passionate. Arrogant. Arrogant.
In the moment. It's like you're shredding, you know what I mean? You get in the moment, you know what I mean? The band keeps going, you know what I mean? You just in the moment.
Yo, and then his eyes get real bugged out, and then he be doing this. I'm like, you are not Wanye. Relax.
Yeah, because he does like the Wanye, and then Cisco, he's the one that does it for their group. Lil G does it for Silk.
Oh, Pumpkin. I call him.
Who, Lil G or Cisco?
Little G. I call him Pumpkin because his head is shaped like a pumpkin.
Yeah, it is. It's a perfect brown pumpkin.
I call him Pumpkin. When I met him, I was like, Pumpkin. I call him Pumpkin.
My mom and his sister used to be really close at one point.
Okay, so going back while Haran licks his wounds, going back to Steve Harvey and the topic, what's happening to a lot of these people. Here's what I don't agree with that Steve Harvey said was that he was going to fire the person that was working for him. Manning the Twitter page. I think that's fucked up. And the reason why I think it's fucked up is because the dude basically threw a poll out there. He said, what comedian do you think is unfunny? He didn't say anything derogatory. It was a question. And if you want a young person running your social media page, that's the stupid shit that they're going to throw up on their page to get engagement. That's what they're going to do.
You're supposed to approve your post before they go out. But you're supposed to approve your post before they go up. So it really isn't his fault. That's you being lazy or you not taking accountability for your shit before it goes out. Any celebrity that has their stuff done knows that that's the protocol. So I don't want to hear it. What really happened is that your ego was bruised because people was coming after you and you model yourself out of this perfect image, right? And so that was penetrated for 24 hours and now you're feeling away. It was a simple mistake. It was such a simple mistake that anybody who's posting can make. Come on, whatever.
And it's an engaging tweet. How many times do we see people do that? Who's better, Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant? Like, so I'm thinking the person that was in charge of the X account, because it's not Twitter, the X account. We got to get used to saying X. So the X account, although we still say tweet and tweeted,
Yeah, we still didn't figure that
I'm
out.
not playing
Right.
single man.
So the X account, I think it's fucked up that he's trying to do damage control by saying, well, you're going to be looking for employment. I think that's fucked up. Not only that, while he's trying to look like the hero, I don't know if he noticed he made himself look like a villain as well. Because if you got somebody throwing shit out for engagement, and I'm sure that's what the person told him. Look, you want me to get engagement for the
Right.
X account? That's what I did. Well, he's gonna be looking for employment now. That's fucked up to me.
Yeah, I didn't like that
I
either. I thought that
guarantee
was really
you.
arrogant.
I'm
I was just saying that was arrogant.
I guarantee you that little snafu, that shit probably was the most engagement that motherfucker had on his goddamn page in the last fucking. Don't nobody checking for no fucking Steve Harvey fucking page. Like, no, nobody checking for you. Like, for what reason? Like, what reason do motherfuckers have to, check for homie like that? Like,
I
outside
have
of
to
maybe
disagree. I have to disagree because I have to
I don't
disagree
know.
because he has. This is why I'm gonna disagree.
Okay.
This is why I'm gonna disagree. I'm not a fan of Steve Harvey. Never was, never will be. Not my cup of tea, right? I like, that raw George Carlin, Cat Williams, Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock. I'm a different type of, I have a different whatever. We're just not his demo, but he is hugely popular in American homes. He has like 3 or 4 hit shows on TV spinning all the time, the radio show. So I can't take, and I'm not a fan, but Steve Harvey is major in America. He's that friendly black. He's almost like Bill Cosby status. Everybody loves them some Steve Harvey,
Okay.
Perfect
especially
example. He's the
This is
new.
a clear example. This is
especially
a clear
these people here.
He's the new.
This
He's
is
the
a
new.
clear
He's the
example of
new
what I just said
Cosby.
earlier. This is a clear example of what I just said earlier. Okay, even from my stance, I'm saying like, the fuck is this? Because I'm looking at it from a perspective of this motherfucker has no talent. However, for a moment, I did not take into consideration that the white old grandmothers across America, like this motherfucker, they fuck with him, heavy and so on and so forth. So yes, within this moment, even I forgot that. So this is an example of what I'm saying, that he found his talent and his appeal in a space that really has nothing to do with comedy per se. So yes, I will concede that yes, that is a very good point, because overall, no, I wouldn't say his demo is us. You know what I mean?
Right. He's
Right.
one of those people that, okay, we've seen people come through in the entertainment spaces, right? They may not be the best singer or dancer or whatever, but they have this I guess you could say, a it factor, right? That makes people tune in for some. And as much as I don't like this man, he does have that, right? And then his ability to network and things like that. So I can't take that away from him. He does have an it factor, even if it doesn't fall on me, right? I see it. Like, there's people who I don't like, and I'm like, but I see why. I can get why other people do. And then there's people why I don't get it. I really don't. I'm looking around like, what is it? What do you care?
Lily,
what is it?
the majority, like when I see people going crazy for that rapper Sexy Red or Ice Spice or Cardi B, even like to this day, people are like, oh, she'll grow on you. It's been years. I don't like that woman. I don't like her music. I don't think she's amusing at all. And people, they love her like she's a fucking sports mascot. They love them some, and I chewing. I will not swallow. I cannot do it. Cannot do it.
See, with Cardi now, with Ice Spice and Sexy Red, I literally just sit there like, what the fuck? But with Cardi, I can see it. I see what it is. I get it.
I can see it too, because she's
I get it.
America loves a clown. So I get it. I totally get it. I'm saying she's never grown on me. Never grown on me.
I think Cardi's actually naturally funny. Like, I've seen her in certain instances where their timing is like, oh, that's pretty good. Like, she could probably be in a show, or probably, be on a cast or whatever. Or like the rest of the girls, I don't see it. And I think it's a generational thing. I don't know. But I just
do you think that where you live in New York City, if you just knew her regular, you would think that?
No. I
If she was
think
just a girl
that
in the neighborhood.
yeah, I honestly overall, I think Cardi and these girls right now overall, they're good for right now. They fit right now. You don't have to be great at damn near anything right now. You just
You
have to
don't.
be an engaging
No,
personality.
Saint, mute your mic. No, Saint, mute your mic until you're gonna say something, please.
You know what I mean? You just have to be an engaging personality. You are our our metric of talent is different when we grew up. You have to be able to
We have
you
a
have
metric.
I'm about
you
to
know what I
say the
mean?
metric
When
has
we were
been thrown
growing up,
away.
no, when we were growing up, you had to be incredible. You had to sound
No, I'm
incredible,
talking
had to
about
do something
now.
about.
No, I'm
No,
talking
there's
about
no
now.
metric.
We have a metric,
There's
right?
no metric now. There's no metric now. Now everything is just a motherfucker. I guess just has to see you as a person they can smoke weed with, a person they could do rob a bank with. I don't know. You know what I mean? So my metric of that's a talented person is completely different from what these kids metric is, man. You know what I mean? So I can concede that, maybe I just aged out of what the concept of talent is right now. Like I just can't connect with a lot of this shit.
I can't
I just
connect either. I sit there and I really try. I try, you all. I really do. I squint. I hold my ear like this. I close my eyes and open my ears and close my ears and open my eyes, and I still can't understand. I still can't get it because I'm just like, most of them give me an average TikTok user. That's all I
But
get.
do you, devil's advocate? No, Saint, do you want to jump in here before I say what I gotta say?
Sure. I listen. I think that there are things that make Steve Harvey funny. Like I thought it was hilarious when he mistakenly gave the wrong Miss America, Miss World, the winning prize and had to come back and
Hmm.
give the other lady. That was classic. But do I know? I don't know anything about a stand-up. Do I think he makes some funny things once in a while? Yeah. I mean, I don't take anything away from anybody that gets into the levels that they get into. Sure, there's some being in the right place at the right time. There's some, can we market these different people when you talk about Britney Spears and things like that? She was on the Mickey Mouse Club or whatever she was, Disney or whatever. So are these people the most talented? Probably. I mean, no, but I'm not taking where they got away from them. And so Steve Harvey has found his niche and he's making a lot of money. He's marketable. So yeah, I mean that's that's all I got to say about that, I think.
another
Very.
example would be for me, Jay-Z. I don't think Jay-Z I won't take anything away from his talent per se, but back in the days, I would never say like Jay-Z had dude shook. Like Jay-Z never really had motherfuckers shook like that. Like Nas had motherfuckers second guessing. Like cannabis was done, they had motherfucking second guessing. Like Rakim had motherfucking second guessing. Jay-Z had a time where he was just like a skinny motherfucker who was like he had moments, you know what I mean? But Jay-Z was very good at outlasting his peers. He was very good at outlasting his contemporaries. He literally outlived a number of fucking people. You know what I mean? I like
Everything.
DMX more when he came out more than Jay-Z.
I
X,
have to disagree.
Yeah, I'm a
X
huge
just
Jay
had that
Z fan,
energy.
Yeah,
so
I gotta
You know what I mean?
disagree, man. It's like
I think
one
Nas
take
was always
hold,
better than Jay-Z. I
one
think
take
Nas was
hold.
yeah.
don't care about
I
Hov. I'm
made
talking
that.
about
I made.
Nas.
Listen, you're
There was
wearing that
two
Yankee
moments in
cap
hip
because
hop.
of Jay-Z. You wearing that
But
Yankee cap on your head
two
right now because of
moments.
Jay-Z. Stop the
I say
cap.
hip hop.
Stop the
There's
cap.
two moments in hip hop. Ain't nobody talking about Reasonable Doubt like they talk about Illmatic still. So you know what I'm saying? I mean,
But why you wearing that
no,
cap?
you know what I mean?
He
Because
made
Is
I
the
this
like
a
it.
Yankee
Brooklyn?
fitted more
Because I
famous
like
than a
it.
Is this a
Yankee
Because
can.
I like it. Because I like
is
it.
this a Queens
Cause
thing? Just go ahead
Jay.
and say it. Just go ahead and say
And
it. It's a
and,
Queens thing.
and
Just say you take it up for your borough. Just go ahead and
Casino
say that.
XL is better than Jay Z lyrically. He can make better songs than Jay Z though. But
So
But
this
Casino
we
is the
XL
can't.
thing.
is
This is the thing about Nas to me, in my opinion. And I've said this about him that annoys me about Nas because I love me some Nas, but this is because I love him. This is this annoys me about him. To me, I don't feel like he's as consistent as Jay when it comes to bodies of work. Like Nas will give you a a hell of a damn good album. But the next one is gonna be trash. And then the next one might be trash, and then he's gonna give you a damn good album again. Like it's never good album, good album, good album. Tell me I'm lying, Haran.
Well, here, listen, has Nas had some issues with picking, solid beats? I will agree to that. Lyrically, pound for pound, is Jay-Z better than Nas? Hell, fucking no.
Okay, we have to fight about that.
Because Jay-Z's, let me tell you something. Thank you, Green Vegan. That made me laugh. She sent me something. When you say he ain't never had nobody shook, the swag that Jay came with, okay, we hadn't seen swag. Now you could say lyrically Nas is better. He was deeper, right? But there's an element to being an entertainer when it comes to hip hop. Like a lot of people concentrate on the lyrics but there's also an element. It's an entertainment. It's the entertainment business. So nobody cares that's why Rakim is still doing his old shit when he performs. Okay. And Jay-Z, come on, we have to give credit. It's like Michael Jackson. How many years has Jay been relevant? And then when he does feel like coming out, he's dropping bombs. His swag is unprecedented.
Yeah, his swag is totally.
His swag, he is New York. Like Jay walks in and it's like Nas don't got that. And I liked Ether. And I liked Ether.
Right.
Nas again, we were all there. We were all there when Nas basically, caused a huge stir in New York. When Illmatic dropped, 5 mics in the Source, Nas was that dude.
It.
Okay? Nas was
We're not taking that away. We will not take that away.
Now, I will say, Jay, again, the props that I give to Jay outlasted his contemporaries. Jay had a better business sense. Yes, he made records for the club more so. Originally, he was a horrendous performer. You know what I mean? He worked.
I'm sorry. Was Nas doing backflips? What do you mean? What is a rapper supposed to do? What is a rapper supposed to do?
Let me finish.
Lil Nas X, you want him to do choreography?
Jay worked on his ability to perform and got better. Nas is not a performer. Nas is about as good a performer as Rakim is, and they're both horrible.
Yeah, but what do you want a rapper to do? What rapper is good on stage?
I'll tell you.
Kane is amazing on stage.
The best. I'm about to say that's the best. Busta Rhymes is the best. Busta Rhymes is the best.
DMX is amazing on stage.
And DMX,
But that's because that's their style. That's who they are. And Busta Rhymes has fucking speed lyrics. He can't be up there and be calm. He's up there.
Jay-Z got better on stage. He got much better on stage.
He did get better.
But here's the thing. Jay-Z, I think you can't get Busta Rhymes and DMX from Jay-Z. Those are three different swags. Those are three different swags. So when Jay's on stage, he gives you that New York swag. I'm too cool for school. This is who I am. Busta Rhymes is a performer. You're going to see him bouncing around with his little sidekick that be running around behind him.
Flip star. Yeah.
Cool. This is cool.
Has he ever dropped anything? His sidekick? Yeah.
Flip? No. The only thing, the closest was the Flip Mode album. With all of them, with Rod Digger, Spliff, and all.
I'm like, yo,
I was so disappointed by that album.
Respectfully, because respectfully. But I'm like, yo, you made a career being a fucking sidekick. I hate
which is not too bad not too bad though. Because think about this, right? Compared to some of the stars, he's kind of outlived them. Like he's still on stages.
But he outlived them because of Busta Rhymes. If Busta Rhymes died tomorrow, no one's going to see Spliff on stage hopping around.
Facts.
So and that's why I said respectfully, because he's an entire career. Like you see Busta Rhymes, they like Batman and Robin. Like
they are. I mean, literally every time you see one, you see the other, which is, it's pretty dope because they still rocking this many years later.
Yeah. And still performing their ass off.
Right.
Still performing their ass. So like shouts out the bus. Jesus.
Yes.
He's somebody that I haven't met that I would love to meet because you could tell he's like a genuinely good, real person. Like he's like, I've seen him perform live, but I've never met him. I'd love to meet him. One
Yeah,
day.
me
I
too.
think M. While we're on the subject of rap, I think M deserves to be mentioned, just not in the context that so many people put him in.
Okay,
It's overrated.
there are hundreds of rappers. I don't know how M made it into this conversation. Why he needs a mention, I don't know.
I'm just
Why did
coming.
M need
You know
him?
what I mean, it just came to mind. It just
Okay.
came to mind. I just wanted to
Out
mention.
of all the other rappers, M came to mind.
Yeah, I just needed to do it.
You are brainwashed, my brother. And let me tell you,
You getting your NOI bag tonight.
you are
He deserves to
brainwashed.
be mentioned, just not in the regard that cats are like they get a little crazy. Motherfuckers get a little crazy when it comes to him. It's like, no, he deserves to be mentioned. It's just not like that. It's like,
Alhamdulillah. I can't talk right now.
And
No,
then here's
say you're
Allah.
gonna say
And you know what Allah said?
what?
I don't know her.
He did right. He's like, she looked familiar. No, Allah was like, she looked like a girl. Like you said, no, maybe that's not her.
Yeah, nah. I'm going back to eat my food.
No,
honorable
saying
mention,
you gonna stand up for your boy,
Eminem.
Eminem.
No, I'm not standing
I
up for
thought you all
anybody.
liked them. I thought that you all liked them.
No Slim Shady for you?
I never bought an album. I think I
Okay.
stole some music off of Napster or something, but I never
Oh,
spent it.
so you
spent
was who
it
he
out.
was cussing out. You was who he was cussing out. Okay, because he was cussing y'all
You all
out.
stole stuff off of Napster. I mean, like, come on.
Did anybody else buy the CDs for a penny?
Oh,
Oh,
what?
yeah.
I think I
Did y'all
I think I
pay?
did one.
Did y'all
I'm about to
pay up
say,
y'all
I was just about to
CDs?
say, buy the
I didn't pay.
CDs.
Yeah, I
I
had
still
to.
owe them
I did.
motherfuckers. I know you did, though, Saint. Come on now.
I felt they were coming. I mean, I felt I had to. They kept on sending me the little thing. You need to buy
Oh,
Yeah,
my
four.
God.
they do.
I
But
love
let
it
me
to
tell
be.
you,
It must be good to be white. Oh, man, fuck them
listen,
I
hoes.
did the tapes too. The tapes.
you did the
Yeah.
tapes.
Yeah, they used to do the
That
penny for tapes.
that company must have lost millions on millions of dollars because I don't know
Yes.
anybody who paid for them CDs.
Except No Saint. He's the only one to pay for CDs. When I tell you I had one, you remember the CD racks that was real tall? I had a tall CD rack with stolen 1 penny
We all
CDs
did.
that we never paid for.
We all did. We all
Nobody
did.
had that kind of money to have a freaking collection like that.
This would have never crossed my mind to not pay for it. To me, I wanted to pay as soon as I could because I hated the pressure of getting that in the mail every month. You owe for 4 CDs.
No,
and I didn't
Saint.
know. I didn't know if it was going to go against. I didn't even know if I was thinking about credit back then.
No, Saint, you better not. No, Saint, stay out of your DMs. Stay out of your DMs, okay?
Yeah, please, because they're going to get you. Once we blow up.
Let me tell you something.
No,
Absolute
they're coming after
silence.
you guys. You're the ones admitting you didn't pay for the CD.
No, I'm just talking about
I used to see
people.
letters.
I'm talking
I
about
used to see
people.
letters and literally throw
I
them
know.
in the trash. I wouldn't even open them. I'd be like, "Oh, them again?"
Right. I'm like, oh, yeah. And you know what I used to think?
Okay.
That was your dumb ass fault for giving them to me. That was your fault.
Exactly. Like, oh,
So-
you dead.
This is an interesting comment. There's an interesting comment. Charles Coleman said, nobody bumps M. Do you? Since you gave him the honorable mention. You listen to Eminem?
Time I bump.
Which one?
I like Forgot About Dre. That's Dre. So, but I love Forgot About Dre.
I bumped the first album, the Eminem show. I bumped when the verses that he did with Tech and Sway. Bad versus Evil. See, I'm a hip hop fan. See, a lot of you niggas.
Yeah,
we.
Bad versus
don't-
Evil.
don't-
I did like Bad
don't-
versus Evil.
Don't do that
No,
shit.
we're
Don't
gonna
do
do
that.
that.
Don't
We're
do
gonna
that
do
shit.
that.
Don't do that.
We're gonna do
Because
it. We're gonna do
that's your excuse. That's
You know
your
what I mean?
excuse.
Like, I listened to
That's
Chuck
your
Rock Bingo
excuse
back in the
for putting. That's your excuse for putting a white rapper over the myriad, the plethora of black rappers that are better than M. That's your
Like, well,
excuse.
like-
You
like
always
who, like-
go
like
the
who,
route
like-
of
like
I'm a
fucking
real
P?
hip hop fan. No,
Also,
liking
like
Eminem does not make you liking Eminem does not make you a
Okay, so I'll
real
put him-
hip hop fan.
So I'm gonna
Stop
put
it.
him on- Here, this is who I put Eminem over. Young
Stop
MC. I'm gonna put him up against Spliff Star. I'm gonna put him over MC Hammer. I'm gonna put him over. I'm gonna put him over. Who else?
You know what you need? You know what you need? You know what you need? The drop squad. You need the drop squad.
And crucial conflict.
You need
I agree.
we're gonna put over you the drop squad. Listen, y'all gonna help me after the show, chat. Let's form a drop squad. We're gonna go get this brother. We're gonna go get this brother.
I didn't even say where I mentioned him. I didn't say top 5, top 8. I didn't say top 10.
The fact that you mentioned him at all is mind-blowing to me.
That's the problem.
Drop squad. We're gonna get the drop squad on you.
So Haran,
M did blow out Jay on Renegade. A lot of people.
So Haran, so I'm curious.
I like Renegade.
because in by the time Eminem came out, I mean, maybe if I was younger, I might have bought some of his CDs, but I know this isn't like classic, what you would call classic rap, because it was a mix between rap and like rock, but I like the Beastie Boys way more than I liked Eminem.
I can see that.
I can see that too.
You can see that, but
like no sleep till Brooklyn was dope. I liked it. No sleep till Brooklyn was. I like that song. That shit was dope. I mean, I wasn't a Beastie Boy fan, but I mean,
yeah.
And see, here's the thing. Thank you, Daryl Allen. Thank you, Daryl Allen. He said you better get off Hammer, because if somebody asks me anywhere at any fucking point in time, at any interview on any planet, including Earth, okay, if someone said who would you pick, Hammer or Eminem, I'm gonna say motherfucking Hammer. Wow. That's who I'm gonna say. Fucking Eminem. And guess what? I'm a hip hop fan too. I'm a real hip hop fan too.
I named 3 MC Hammer songs.
You damn right.
You was vibing to that. You was vibing to the lyrical genius of "Can't Touch This."
Yes.
I wanna, and you know what? And I'm looking at this Big L comment.
While you was vibing to Stan.
Yeah. What Big L comment?
And Slim Shady. While you was jamming to Slim Shady.
Some bars there. What you said, Big L? What happened?
Yeah, I'm looking at this Big L comment, right? Nobody was listening to Big L before he passed, and ain't nobody listening to him afterwards. Have you ever heard a Big L song on the radio? And people always want to shout him out because they hear other people shout him out. Not saying that's what you're doing, Adam, but a lot of people do that. Exactly. It's like, what do you really know about Big L? Because nobody was really talking about Big L before he passed.
I know he got a big mural.
Exactly. They know about the mural.
I've seen the mural. I've seen the mural so many times. Oh my goodness.
It was uptown, Harlem, right?
Yeah, he was Harlem. Yeah, he was uptown. Yeah.
This man mentioned Eminem before Big Pun. You put Eminem over Big Pun lyrically?
Nah.
Lyrically?
Nah, I wouldn't put him over.
Because I was about to rip this off the wall and strangle you with it.
That'd have been a long goddamn.
I just don't think Jen likes. Jen doesn't like Eminem. I take it she doesn't really like him.
You know which one I like?
I actually think that Big Pun was underrated.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very. Okay, Roy, you just trolling, so you tread lightly. Talking about nobody bumps KRS-One, but he up there. Lines, he still get bumped today, and this shit was the beginning of hip hop. Right.
I bump him.
I still bump Kane. I still bump all those.
And I know all the lyrics on Criminal Minded. All of them. I had to tape the little cassette tape.
As a matter of fact, how many y'all bump G-Rap though?
I wasn't a big G-Rap fan. I just wasn't. But it wasn't that, I just
G-Rap.
I just wasn't a big G-Rap fan. He just went over my head. I mean, I didn't really pay attention to him. That's all. I just didn't pay attention to him.
I do like that profile thing.
I like Lose Yourself. I like Stan was entertaining. I think he was like I hate that I have to say this name again, but Eminem to me was like the R. Kelly of rap. Like he told stories, like R. Kelly, who's in the closet. That to me was Eminem. He told stories about his deadbeat mama, and that's how I see Eminem. I don't, I like this comment. Jen doesn't like white people because it's different from Jen doesn't like black people. Like every week it changes.
Right.
So this is
next
new.
week it'll be Puerto Rican.
I love that.
Oh yeah.
I love the profile pic too. I love it.
With a balding Woody Harrelson.
Oh my God. Yes, the pedophile.
Listen.
Munson, the pedophile.
We only have so many white rappers that we can try to put up in the game that's any good, I mean, after Eminem, who do you got, You can throw in.
What about your twin? What about your twin?
Third base, right?
There you go.
I'll take him. I'll take him.
I'll take third base.
Yeah, I'll take third base.
Fucking Search is a liar. That motherfucker right there. When you talk about
I heard he got caught in a.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard he gets caught. Right, that's what I heard. I heard he gets caught in a lot of lies. Wow.
No saint. Yeah, but that's how I see Eminem. I wouldn't like, Eminem's music, because hip hop is still an art. Eminem's music, I ain't never heard his music and been like, you know what I'm saying? Like listening to DMX, right? Or listening to Jay-Z or something I can relate to, or dare I say even Drake, even though people don't like Drake. Drake does have lyrics that I'm like, yo, that's how I feel about my friends or my family. Eminem to me is an entertainer. He's a pop rapper. Come at me, bro. He is a pop star. Eminem is a pop star. To me, he's not hip hop. He's a fucking pop star. Okay. Vanilla Ice performed so Eminem could live. Come at me.
Nah. Eminem literally started out like in battles and shit like that. And
whatever.
But he became a pop star, though. He did become a pop star. Like, my name is. My name is.
A pop star. That's your people.
Hello, kids. Do you like violence? Like, oh, what's
that's
this?
what y'all know about him.
Yeah, he's a pop star.
He's actually a battle rapper. He actually started out as a battle rapper.
I know he's a battle rapper.
We all know that, but he became a pop star.
Right.
Okay. Pop star. That can be true. Both can be true.
Your boy's a cartoon.
That goofy shit was annoying after a while.
I know what I meant to bring up now that I was waiting for this next time we had a hip hop conversation. Okay, so that everybody was going back and forth about who just like was it the blacks, and the blacks owned hip hop and started hip hop and founded hip hop, and it's all about that, right? Mm-hmm. And like they try to kick everyone else out, right? Like the Puerto Ricans and everything out, right? So then, okay, I'm gonna ask you a question. When you think of founding three founding members of hip hop, who comes to mind? Because the three that came to mind to me were Grandmaster Flash, Africa Bambaataa, KRS-One.
You left out Kool Herc.
Oh, Kool Herc. But guess what? None of them are Black Americans.
And that is why, and I agree with those founders, by the way, and that's why the quote unquote FBA had an issue with them, because they weren't FBA, but still, you cannot change history. You can't change it. Even if the history pisses you off, you can't change history. And those three deserve the credit as the founders, period, hands down.
When we're talking about hip hop,
that's why I can't take the FBA seriously. I can't take them seriously. They're divisive anyway.
And here's the problem with that argument. When you're talking about hip hop and you're talking about New York, the ground zero of the entire culture, we're talking about hip hop. We're not just talking about rap. We're talking about DJing. We're talking about breaking. We're talking about graffiti. You know what I mean? And for instance, for you to sit here and say that Latins did not contribute to hip hop, you have no fucking clue what you're talking about. They were mostly in the break dancing and the graffiti section. You know what I mean, of hip hop. So to sit here and say they did not contribute to it, you have no fucking clue. Now, if you're going to sit here and say that, you mostly only know black, MCs, I can understand that to a degree. But to sit here and say that they did not contribute to hip hop, you do not know your history, and that is the problem that I have with motherfuckers. Hip hop is just not rap. That's not the only fucking thing. That was the most marketable thing, you know what I mean, to come out of, you know what I mean, the elements. But it was not the only fucking thing, man.
And
that's the
Busta
issue that I
Rhymes,
have.
and here's the thing, like social media muddied a lot of shit. It muddied, you know, alliances, it muddied liaisons, it muddied a lot. Social media muddied a lot. We're from New York. We know what really happened. Okay.
Right.
We are that. We are part of hip hop. We are hip hop. And Busta Rhymes says it all the time. KRS One says it all the time. It was black and Puerto Rican. It was black and Puerto Rican. And there are, you know, different elements to hip hop. A lot of people didn't know they was Puerto Rican DJs, right? They was the graffiti artists, the breakers, but like Crazy Legs knows, and he knows more of the history than, of course, I do. But there were a lot of Afro Latinos that people thought were black and were Afro Latinos. So we've always been interwoven in this thing. Now, is hip hop predominantly black? Yes, it is. If you go down to the core, down to the nitty gritty, to the founders, are they black? Yes, but more than black, they are Caribbean, right?
Right.
That is the fact. That is the history. That is the truth. And then came the internet and these fucking clowns who call themselves FBA. Yeah, I said it. Come at me, bro. With their leader, Auntie Tariq Nasheed, right? Their leader, Auntie. And she's just trying to sell fucking t-shirts and keychains, right? So she's going to be divisive because divisive works on social media. And that bitch threw some shit out and people ran with it. People ran with it. But the history is the history, and you cannot change it, not even to sell your t-shirts.
And you know what? And the other thing is, people don't understand New York culture too, right? That's the real like part of the conversation that a lot of people are leaving out. People don't understand New York culture and how intertwined we are. And you, like you said, you could just glance at someone and think that they're a black person when they are anything but. They could be Guyanese, they could be Puerto Rican, Dominican, so many other things. So people don't understand the melting pot that New York is and how we do everything together. There is no real separation like that. So,
like for instance,
Good. No, I was just I was curious, like when it comes to like the break dancing and everything, how much influence did that have from the Brazilian slaves that used to have to do that dance to practice fighting? I forgot, it's called like, I'm looking it up, capoeira. Yeah, because first time I ever saw that was on a video game, and I thought, this is some bullshit. Who's doing? And then I found out, no, that's a real thing. You know, they practice that to fight, and it had some similarities to me to breakdancing, in that, at least from what I saw.
Yeah, I mean, they were different. And here's the thing, right? Another thing these FBA clowns try to do, right? Yes, FBA clowns. Another thing these FBA clowns try to do, right, is they say, well, you look at, and this makes so much sense. Well, you look at the rapping started in 1901. Look at this black and white video, right? And they'll say, oh, breaking started in 1919. Look at this video. Here's the thing. Though you see similar dance styles or similar performance as far as words or music, right? Or like capoeira, like you said, all of that existed before hip hop. The cadence, all of that existed before hip hop. However, hip hop is its own entity. Okay, so you cannot say, well, look, breaking started in 1919 because look at this guy spinning on the floor. No, that was not breaking. That was whatever dance that man was doing. Once you get all the way to 1973, what Black kids and Puerto Rican kids invented with those influences is a whole different genre. It's a whole different genre. It's like trying to compare white sliced bread from the 1940s to cocoa bread in fucking, in 2023 because you bake both of them.
But it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. What they did was improved on things that were already, that inspired them from their culture, their background, or whatever. So that's what that was, and it created something completely new. It's like putting a bunch of raw chemicals together and making a whole nother thing.
Absolutely. It's just like salsa music. Like salsa music is Afro-Cuban, Afro-Puerto Rican, mixed with the Latin music and guitars, and then you made salsa. However, you're gonna hear, as you know, Haran, you're gonna hear instruments. You know what I mean? The bongos from Africa, but it's still, salsa is its own thing, and they always pay homage to that. And hip hop has always done that. Breaking has always done that. Capoeira, whatever. We've always done that. This division started online. We've never experienced that as a people in New York City. We've never experienced that. And I feel so sad for the people that were sucked into that black hole. I feel so sad because I'm like, yeah, and you notice what Crazy Legs said, it was true. It was like all the people that were talking shit are not even from New York. So they trying to tell us about where we were born and raised.
And like you said, and we're still not divided today. That is only online. It's still the same. We still live around each other. We still fuck each other. We still go. You know what I'm saying? Like all of that. Like we still.
Oh, do we fuck each other, Lily?
Oh, we fuck a lot. We fuck a lot.
Well, listen, man, and that was my biggest problem. I'm like, you're not even from where I'm from. That's like me speaking on Cali culture. I'm not going to speak on Cali culture. I'm not fucking from California. You know what I mean? I'm not going to speak on what the fuck was happening in the 80s and so on in fucking California. I just know you motherfuckers was violent as shit, but that's about that's about where it starts and ends for me. I have no fucking clue outside of that. You know what I mean? So I'm going to speak on New York. I'm from New York. I grew up there. I saw it happen from the beginning to now. You know what I mean? You can't sit here and tell me what the fuck I saw and I was a part of. And you know what I mean? You cannot do that. And to sit here and exclude, you know, Latinos from the culture, that's some crazy shit to me. That's some crazy shit to me. Because first of all, if the shit started in the, you know what I mean? Not even if the shit started in the Bronx, it would be literally impossible for you to exclude Latinos out of fucking hip hop if this shit started in the fucking Bronx. So you mean to tell me that hip hop started in this one fucking section and the rest of the fucking Bronx was just watching everybody fucking or the rest of the niggas down and they didn't do nothing but sit there and just watch.
What are those blacks doing down there?
They didn't get involved or anything like that. Just everybody just sitting. You listening to Tyrone play this shit upstairs and you not getting involved. You're not doing that.
So let me say this, right? Because I did hear that a lot, right? I think the controversy comes from the word creation. Here's the thing. Puerto Ricans have never said they created. However, what happened was the exaggeration of we were guests in hip hop and had nothing to do with it. That's where that whole FBA shit fucked up. We never said we created or invented. With that said, Crazy Legs did create and invent certain moves in breaking that were not in existence prior to him. And Crazy Legs, it was the first and only one that took breaking around the world.
Absolutely.
Literally global. He took breaking, which is an element of hip hop. He took it around the world. Okay. So no, we've never heard, you can't pull up a video, an article, anything with any Puerto Rican, because we knew what we did and how we partook, right? No one ever said created. That's something that Auntie Tariq made up, right? Threw certain words out there and people ran with it. And it was like a lot of people that came at me after I did that hip hop panel, they were like, yeah, but Puerto Ricans didn't create hip. I was like, no one ever said, where are you hearing this?
Their comprehension is all that, you know, Xanax do that.
Yeah. Percocets.
Yeah, it does that.
You know, so yeah, that word is controversial, but we never said that word. That's the problem. It's kind of like, I remember one crazy ex I had one time, but he was right about this. He was a crazy ass Scientologist. And he said, whenever you see a conflict between two people, and I never thought about it like this. He said, whenever you see a conflict between two people, there's a third person you don't know about. Whenever you see two people in conflict, there's a third person that you don't know about. And when you look at what happened online, when it was Puerto Ricans versus Black or Black versus Puerto Rican, there was that third person sitting in the ivory tower who was putting these words out like creation, like they trying to take hip hop from us. All these narcissists do it. Just like Trump was like, they're taking our right. They're taking the vote. They stole the vote. And what was Auntie Tariq saying? They trying to claim hip hop from us. The Puerto Ricans are trying to claim hip hop from us. The Jamaicans are trying to take hip hop from us. And what does that do? That triggers people. You trying to take something from me? And here's the coup de grace, the creme de la creme, the biggest cherry on top. Hip hop belongs to white people.
At the end of the day, at the
Nobody
beginning
wants to
and the
talk
end of
about
the
that.
day, they
Black
don't.
people, Latin people, Caribbean people do not own a fucking iota of hip hop.
Can't pass none of this shit down to our fucking kids, man.
None of it. None of it. We live, breathe, eat it. We move around like this. This is hip hop. We are hip hop. And none of us own any of it. So instead of somebody like, Sis Tariq putting together a coalition to try to take hip hop back, right? Because we invented it. Instead of doing that to try to take it back, what does he do? He creates division because he has to sell t-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
He has to
What
sell
the fuck is
t-shirts.
What
The
the fuck is
t-shirts
pathetic?
must
Yeah.
sell.
Yeah, you're
So, it's
right.
sad. It's sad. We don't. And I remember what Crazy like said that, one time he was in a debate. He was like, white people on hip hop. What are you fighting about? What do you mean take? So we can't,
Right.
we don't have the power, unfortunately, to take it from each other. We don't even
Mm-hmm.
have that power. We don't have the power to
Yeah.
take it from each other.
Right.
And it's fucked up. It's fucked up.
You know who taught me
It's a
about
reality.
masters? Who taught the importance of owning one's masters? It was back in the days when I was in the industry and when Prince had a falling out with his label and he started talking about these things. It was a brand new thing to me because I'm not gonna lie, I was just a regular artist. I just loved doing what I did and so on. But then I started getting older and I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, I really don't own this shit. Wait a minute, what's going on here? And when Prince started talking about things, and I started really listening and thinking, and then I realized and did the NIST history and realized James Brown owned his shit, Ray Charles owned his shit. You know what I mean? And when
Little
Tupac
Richard.
asked Little Richard, and when Tupac asked, Suge about, yo, man, about owning his masters and shit like that, and anytime he asked about that shit, Suge would bring a Cadillac around and shut his ass up. You know what I mean? That's when I started thinking like, oh, no, this is bigger than just I'm playing a little guitar or whatever. I got to think about what the fuck I'm passing on to my kids, or I can actually live off.
What do you
What's the
think about
difference?
this comment?
I can see that. I can see the GOP being behind the FBA. See, the problem is this.
Ooh.
See, here's the problem, and nobody wants to talk about this. And I'm gonna sit here and say this right now.
Mm.
The Democratic Party has been co-opted. The perception of it is that it's co-opted by women, black women, and weak men, and the GOP has been perceived as being co-opted by white males, strong men, and conservative black men. But here's the problem. The conservative black men who speak a lot of GOP talking points, what are you getting out of it? You're getting the same amount of shit, the same amount of pennies or nigger pennies that they give the black women who actually mule for white women on the other end. So both of y'all getting used.
Yeah.
You just, you're just using, ideologies and politics. Neither one of these white people give a fuck about, your movement and your upliftment. You know what I mean? You got people on the left who think that they're saving you from the people on the right, and the people on the right who are basically subconsciously telling you, well, you should just be happy that we aren't hanging you from trees anymore. Because here's the thing: a lot of black men on the right, they cannot specifically name the tangibles that they're receiving for their allegiance to the GOP. And in many ways, the red pill is, talks a lot of GOP talking points, and a lot of black men who follow red pill ideologies behave just like the conservative black men who follow behind those white men, and they're getting nothing in return for following behind these red pill talking points. What are you getting, nigga? Are they giving you a little seat at the table? No.
Yo, that's what you should name your YouTube channel. What are you getting, nigga?
At least they ain't calling you a simp, though, right? You're just simping for white men, but at least you ain't, at least you have their respect.
Listen, you have to do a stream on your channel. What are you getting, nigga?
Right.
Oh, I have a.
That's
It's
just
funny you
funny.
should say that, but we'll talk about that. But yeah,
Mhm.
because at the end of the day, a lot of brothers. Well, as long as they're at odds with women, As long as, you know what I mean, the left is acceptable, it accepts gays or whomsoever, they'll always stand with white men, and they'll get nothing for it, and they'll be proud to get nothing for it, because at least we're not supportive of that other shit. I need more than that.
How did y'all feel about? We never talked about what's his name and Charlemagne going at it. How did y'all feel about the Larry Elder and Charlemagne's exchange? You know that was going
Well,
viral for some
I
days.
felt him in that regard. He was right. You know what I mean? I looked at Charlemagne real wild when he allowed Joe Biden to sit there and say that if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Like, who the fuck are you to say that? Who the fuck are you to say, you know what I mean? And see, here's my problem. My blackness is not contingent on on my allegiance to anyone. You know what I mean? I define that. Motherfucker, you don't tell me I'm not black if I don't fucking adhere to your fucking white ideology. The fuck out of here. And that goes for the red or the blue. You know, I'll be here to my allegiance to or my agreement with your policies will always be contingent on what do I get out of it, as it should be.
It's funny you say that, Ron, because I was thinking about that earlier, and I was gonna post it on Facebook, and I was basically like, I'm at my wits' end. Like, the older I get, I'm at my wits' end with groups and labels, and I'm like, don't associate me to any group, and don't disassociate me from any group. I deal with people individually. I've been come at very in a wild way from everybody, including people that wave this flag. So do not make me the representative. Do not include me in any groups. I do not like it. I judge everybody individually, and I've learned a lot in my time on this planet. But I'm just like, I'm at my wits' end. Don't put me in anything. Don't mix me up with any group whatsoever. Ever. I done lived and learned. I wanted to address this here because this is like how it starts, right? Adam Hearn said reggaeton is from Panama, but Puerto Ricans appear to be the creators. Puerto Ricans did not create reggaeton, and it did start in Panama. And the reggaeton artists in Puerto Rico, what happened was the same thing that I described with capoeira. Capoeira is not breaking. Breaking took from capoeira. Reggaeton it's not created by Puerto Ricans or Bad Bunny. It started in Panama. However, Puerto Ricans made reggaeton commercial, and it blew the fuck up. It blew up, right? But they always give credit to Panama. The problem is that they put stuff out like this, and now you're the enemy. If you're from Panama, you're the enemy of the Puerto Ricans because look what they're saying. No, Bad Bunny is always giving credit. Arcángel is always giving credit. Jay Wheeler, Mike Towers, the list goes on and on. These people always give credit to Panama. But shit like this starts online, and then people give you your enemies. That's what I was saying about Auntie Tariq too. He's giving you, if you are FBA, let's say, respectfully, if you say I'm FBA, I'm foundationally Black American, right? And you just mind your business. What motherfuckers like that do online is they give you enemies. Now he done gave you Puerto Ricans as your enemy. He done gave you Jamaicans as your enemy. He gave you Africans as your enemy. Okay. The tethers. You're just minding your business. You're like, I like how foundational Black American sounds. Okay. I'll take that as an identity. And now they gave you 3 or 4 enemies that you didn't even know you had. Right. You're like, wait, so now I gotta hate Jamaicans, Africans, Caribbeans, Puerto Ricans, Latins. I gotta hate all of them to be FBA, and people don't think about that.
They don't think about that. It's so funny because I have a joke that I say to myself when I get up in the morning, when I go to social media for the first time in the morning. I'm like, okay, so let me see who the internet tells me hates me and doesn't like me and who my enemies are. Right? Because I don't know. I don't do a good job with this. So they do a really good job.
We gotta do that skit with you when we hook back up. We need you doing that. Yeah, but you have to be careful. I know what Fat Joe said, and that's not what created. This is not what created a Tariq Nasheed. Tariq Nasheed has been dividing Black people since he got his ass in a suit. Okay, since he was sweating in a suit in a fucking documentary, Tariq Nasheed's been separating Black people. It wasn't Fat Joe's 50-50 comment. And just because Fat Joe said that, so the fuck what? What does that mean? It doesn't change history. All right.
Look, at
Not
the
to
end of the day,
and for the record, Fat Joe is a huge contributor to hip hop, but it doesn't take away that turd in a suit has been dividing Black people forever.
look,
Listen,
man, I can tell you flat out, Fat
What No
Joe
Saint?
is
Let
a
No Saint talk
much-
because he been quiet as fuck.
I've been okay. It's hilarious to me. I'll sit back here and watch because the people who criticize, is it Fat Joe, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yeah, the people criticizing him contributed absolutely nothing to hip hop. Fat Joe has every right. At least he did contribute to hip hop. So these people that are like, all right, so somebody said Puerto Rico invented reggaeton, if that's what even happened, right?
Right.
And you're mad because you're from Panama, but I guarantee you put nothing into reggaeton. So
Right.
it's bizarre to me, but that's just me. I realize people latch on to other people's achievements and as a sense of their own pride. I'm just not one of those people because I realize that I haven't really done shit in this world compared to a lot of other people, and I'm not taking somebody else's credit to make me feel good. But do what you got to do.
And to your point earlier, Jen, about the groups, right? It's funny that you put that up today because that was another thing I was thinking about today is how every single group, and I mean every group, gets co-opted. It can start off with the best of intentions, but at some point it will be co-opted, which is the reason why I stopped like being associated with groups. Like every single interview I've ever done, I make it very, very clear. Like, do not. I'm an individual. I always say I'm the spirit inside the body. Don't call me none of that other shit. But I mean, I know you are anyway, but I'm letting you know what I look at me as and how I look at myself. I'm making that very, very clear. I can't do groups because eventually it will be co-opted. And then especially in this day and age where it started taking this weird turn where if you did align yourself with the group, you have to align yourself with every one of their points. And that's just weird. You have to have the same enemies as them. You have to agree with everything they agree with. You have to dislike everyone they dislike. And I'm like, that's just weird.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of
work. You know, and Absolute 7. Okay, he got a hard on for the word creation and contributed. This is these words were like getting thrown back and forth, right? It's tomato, right? When you slip in creation, you just erased a whole generation. Contribution was never contested. Here's the thing. There were Latins that created shit. And here's another thing. I keep referring to Crazy Legs. You were not there. It started in 1973. Sir, you were not there. Nobody on this panel I was born in 73. I don't know who was there. There is no history. There wasn't anyone keeping record of, oh, Crazy Legs created that backspin or that headspin. Kool Herc created that. You know what I mean? Sha Rock created that. The Dominican created that. The Puerto Rican created, the Black person created. There are no record books. There is no ledger. There is no log. So we can say we created. We can say we contributed. We can say that. So it's not, you can't say you just erased the whole generation. I didn't erase anything. It is a word. However, there is no hardcore record. Oh shit, Crazy Legs invented that. He's Puerto Rican. You're half Dominican. You created when you scratch. Okay, you created like the double scratch. Okay, and where are you from? You're Italian and Black. Okay, let me write that down. 1983. We're at 1983. That's why the argument is asinine. You can't say who created or contributed. You were not there. There is no record. Hip hop began in the Bronx, Cedric and Cedar, 1973, Black and Puerto Rican. And that's whether you like the history or not. I don't get this. That's whether you like the history or not. That is the history. So it's not, you can mince, you can't say created. You got to say contributed. You do not know who created what and what contributed what. You just don't know. It's 5 elements of hip hop. New Yorkers had no problems with all of us doing this shit together.
Did we miss a super chat? I'm sorry, Fahim. Did we miss one?
Did we?
I'm sorry if we did. Let's check it.
Did we? My bad. I thought I caught all of them.
I thought so too,
No
but
Saint was
yeah.
thinking so. Oh, here we go. Holy fuck. Thank you for the super chat, Fahim Jackson. My bad. I was on a roll. Fahim Jackson says, I'm pretty sure the Brazilian dance was created because slave owners said we were turning our bodies into weapons for protection. So slaves turned it into a dance to preserve the martial arts. Oh, is that the history? Is that the
Yeah,
history
that
of
is.
capoeira?
Yeah, that is. And that's what I'm saying. Like when I was doing, it was a video game that introduced you to it. I'm like, these dudes are dancing around and kicking up and hitting people. I'm like, this
Pretty
can't be. And then I
interesting.
looked it up and I was like, well, son of a bitch, that's a real thing. I was like, that's fascinating. But, hey,
Smart as fuck.
Well,
Again, let me just say this, and then I promise I will pass the mic, and then we got to get out of here. Have you read the museum website yet? The museum website was written by a motherfucker working for a museum website. Do you understand that there is no ledger? There is no hardcore record. There was no historian taking step by step in hip hop with all these kids. Hip hop started a bunch of broke Black and Puerto Rican kids in the Bronx. There was no, it's not like some historian was walking around with them with a ledger and a log, taking everybody's ethnicity and name and seeing what they invented. It's too many years of history and contribution and creation. You just can't. You can't.
And no
You
one
can.
thought it was going to end up what it is now. Nobody knew.
That's another thing Crazy Legs said. No one knew. They were just in it. But here's the thing. When you hear Busta Rhymes saying it was Black and Puerto Rican, when you hear KRS-One saying it was Black and Puerto Rican, when you hear them, I'm going to take their word over yours because they were there.
Absolutely.
I'm going to take their word. If I am going to listen to somebody from back in the day or whatever, I'm going to take their word over yours. They were there. So it doesn't matter what's written, because that museum is also being debated by hip hop, a couple artists. That museum is also being debated. What they put in that museum, people are fighting about it and protesting right now with that museum. So that's another thing. Hip hop, it's an art. You just can't. You can't do that. You can't. Not with hip hop. Unfortunately.
Look, listen. I'm not considering any opinion or perspective from some motherfucker from Albuquerque, from some middle class home, you know what I'm saying? I mean, or whatever. And he's 23 and he got his fucking information from, you know what I mean, from Wikipedia or wherever the fuck, or he asked a couple of, you know what I mean, people who were there. I mean, get the fuck out of here. No, if you weren't there, you really don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And my concept of it, you know what I mean, I was there enough. You know what I mean? Even at my age, it was still going on and we weren't aware of what was happening. We were literally growing with it. So, but one thing that again, you keep missing the point. You're so enthralled and so passionate about these two words, contribution and creation. And none of you are sitting down thinking about ownership. And this is why we are where we are in America. This is why. Because as long as you created this shit, you motherfuckers are fine. As long as the face is on the Wheaties box, you motherfuckers are fine. Everybody got to know you created it, and everybody got to know who contributed to it, and blah, blah, blah. Look, that's like me saying that I created the prototype to the iPhone. I'm not telling nobody that shit. You know what I mean? Because that's just flat out embarrassing. How did you get one of the greatest ideas in human history taken away from you, stupid?
Damn. So you created it, but don't own any parts of it.
Yeah, I will say this. It's officially Sunday over here, so church has been in.
You got an outsider telling you how you gonna rock it, how it's gonna move. Man, get the fuck out of here, man.
That is crazy. If Crazy Legs say he was second generation, guess what? There was a generation before him, and there were Latins in that generation. That's what you're missing. But again, we can start it and end it with what Haran just said. It's cute to say you created something, but if you don't own one iota of it, you're a fool. And I wouldn't say that shit out loud. Figure out how to take hip hop back. That should be the next movement in hip hop. How to take hip hop back. I bet you I won't congregate for that.
They won't.
I bet you won't get together to take hip hop back, but you'll get together to beat off about who created and who contributed. I bet you won't get together to take hip hop back. I bet you won't get together to run up in them offices, them buildings where the label owners are. I bet you won't do that. But you'll super chat Tariq Nasheed. We know.
That's solution oriented, and you know ain't nobody down for no damn solutions.
All right, guys. Well, I think that was all. No, Saint, you really need to talk more.
I was talking. I was in there when I could be, but this is, first of all, you guys were in New York when all this was going on, so you have way more information than I can contribute on things like this. But I say things when I feel like I can add to it.
Well, one night we're gonna have an all-white show. We're gonna let No Saint talk, and every now and then we'll chime in.
I mean, I was reading the comments. The comments were funny. I was reading people getting upset when I keep Panama out your mouth.
Right.
I said Africa. I got comments about Africa.
It was a tough crowd tonight.
I see Moxie's in there, though. That's cool.
Hey, Moxie. Yeah, listen, leave hip hop alone. And let's fucking mourn that we don't own a piece of that shit. That should be the biggest issue. That should be the controversy online. No one's telling the owner, we didn't create this. No one's running up to the labels, whether they're white owned or Jewish owned. No one's running, you didn't contribute. It was us. It was us. We contributed. We created.
But nobody contributed their money. So right. Technically, they did.
Then there's that.
Ron, what's the difference between masters and publishing?
It's a little bit technical, but
okay, you're gonna ask that question as we're literally because that's
exactly that's a little bit going in there. But I'll just say your masters. Put it this way: you make a song, you record it. Who basically owns the recording? Because that master recording, everything is going to basically, copies are going to be made off of that master recording, whether it's CDs, streaming, blah, blah, blah. And here's the thing about streaming that owning your masters is important. When you're dealing with streaming services like Spotify and so on and so forth, the main reason why these record companies are able to make so much money and because they own the masters is because they license the records to Spotify or they license the records to Apple. So they literally rent it. This is one of the reasons why, you might have a song on your list that's no longer being able to be played. Well, the license ran out and so on. So when you're able to own the master, you can do things like license. You can say who own, who can play this and so on and so forth. When you don't own the master, you pretty much just can get a performance fee or money off the show.
Thank you for the last super chat of the night. Adam Hearn says, I roll with Dr. Umar more about unity and donations, and Dawood is smoking tonight. He says, we do own it. They simply manage it. Dude smoking tonight. On that note.
Okay.
On that note. All right, guys. This was a good one. Thank you so much for contributing, whether it was super chats or commentary. No Saint caught some shrapnel tonight, but he's a tough guy. He will be back tomorrow to fight another day. On Monday.
No, tomorrow. We're going to do something tomorrow.
Oh, you're going to do the man shit tomorrow?
Yeah, we're going to do it tomorrow. I had to think about what was going on, but we got to figure out what we're going to do, but we're going to do something tomorrow.
Okay, so I'll share it to my community tab, you guys. The guys are going to be up tomorrow without the ladies on No Saints channel.
I picked up something.
I'll share it.
What happened?
STD? STD?
No, that was yesterday.
No, that was last week.
Oh, okay, that was yesterday. Okay.
Something. Yeah.
Only on the block. Only on the block.
I'm so mad at you right now. I'm like, we should have started off like that shit.
Right.
I hope you know now you in trouble because you're gonna be intro every fucking time.
I mean, hey,
Look
man,
at him.
keeps the chops
Right.
Oh my God, please follow Haran DeMarco to get more of that. Haran promised me that he'll be playing naked in the future. So just putting that out there. Haran DeMarco on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. And the intro song was also his jam session as well. That was amazing. Turned me into a DJ. Do you hear that? All right. So all right, guys. So you'll definitely be hearing more of that because, ooh, am I a sucker for live music. So don't forget to join the guys tomorrow, Sunday on No Saints channel. Thank you again for joining us. And yeah, good night. Hit that like and subscribe on your way out. Only on the block, baby. Good night, y'all.